Stand to
Hello everybody, and a big shout out to everyone around the world watching this live stream. I've got great news for you. STIHL TIMBERSPORTS is back. Of course, like everyone else globally, we had a lockdown due to COVID-19. And to be precise, our last competition was on March the 7th in Melbourne. But we're slowly getting back to normality with some competitions here in Europe. We might not be quite there, but trust me, we are ready to rock and roll. And it's my great pleasure to present to you today the Polish National Championship live from Poznan. It's going to be absolutely amazing. And we've got a great expert doing the commentary, Troy Mannering. Troy, can you hear me?
Yes, thanks a lot. How are you doing down there?
Oh, I'm doing great. I hope you're ready for the big competition. It's been quite some time, hasn't it?
I certainly am. I'm super excited to be behind the mic again, and I can't wait for this competition to get underway. I was in Poznan for the World Championships, and we're back again for the Polish National Championships. And today, I guess, we are going to see who is going to be going to the World Championships again when it happens this year.
So it's going to be very exciting. Taking a look at my papers, I can see the judges are Bart and STIHL Jansen from the Netherlands. They will be taking care of the competition. Bart will be on stage and STIHL will be in competition control. So I just heard we're going live to Poznan in just a few seconds to find out who's going to be competing in the national championship. Off we go. So here we are live, ladies and gentlemen. Obviously the athletes are getting ready for the competition.
Marcus, just a really quick note of interest for you. This is the same hall that they did the World Championships in 2015, and obviously because of COVID-19, we don't have an audience on hand, but we are getting back to, as you said, some semblance of normality. And yeah, we are looking forward to this one here. So exciting location and going to be exciting competition.
Oh, it's a great location, and that's Bart Janssen that you can just see. He's being the stage judge, while as mentioned, STIHL Janssen, his son, will be in competition control. And I think this competition is not only interesting, but it's also going to be great to see how we cope with the new situation as we await Kamil Dubicki. He is 25 years old, the youngest brother of the Polish champion Michał Dubicki. And he's the first of 10 competitors. Marcin Dubicki right next to him, age 42. That's the older brother of Michał Dubicki, a forestry expert. Marcin Juskowski, 42 years old, silver medalist at the Polish Championship 2015, 2014, 2012, 2011 and 2010. We also have Tomasz Kowal, 35 years old, 12th at the Polish Championship 2019. Krzysztof Majewski, 44, silver medalist at the Polish Championship 2007. Last year he was 11th. Jacek Grönwald, 47, Polish champion 2016, silver medalist, Team World Championships 2017, and of course winner of the Polish Lions Trophy 2018. Marcin Darga, 31 years old, 4th at the 2019 Polish Championships, 7th at the European Trophy 2019, is also joining this competition, as well as Christian Kaczmarek, 32, Polish champion 2012, silver in 2019, silver medalist, Team World Championship 2017. And of course, Arkadiusz Drozdek, 42, the 11 times Polish champion, silver medalist, Team World Championships 2017, 7th at the Individual World Championships 2018, is here as well. And there's only one athlete missing, ladies and gentlemen, and that is the reigning Polish champion that very soon will be entering the stage as well. 39 years old, 4th place at the Champions Trophy 2019 and winner of the Polish Lions Trophy 2019 as well. He will be arriving last to conclude this set of 10 athletes competing here at the Polish Championship, which is a nice mix of accomplished athletes and as well as young upstarting athletes, the young guns, as you might say. So here you see him again. All 10 lined up, awaiting the big competition here in Poznan. And like Troy Mannering already said, this is very, very special for everyone, not only because of the scenery, not only because of the venue, but also because of the lockdown that we had since March, and this being the first big competition. And everyone, of course, is very excited to see how this is going to work out. As we see Marcin Draga, the 4th of the 2019 Polish Championships. Off we go with all our athletes getting ready for this big competition as we are sending to you live from Poland. Christian Kaczmarek, another big name of Polish timber sports, silver medalist, Team World Championships 2017. And of course, the big man, Arkadiusz Drozdek, 11 times Polish champion, a silver medalist in the Team World Championship 2017, and 7th at the Individual World Championships 2018. That's 9 of 10 competitors, ladies and gentlemen. And here comes the man to beat. He is the reigning Polish champion. He gives us a thumbs up. This man will be very hard to beat. So I'm very sure that Troy will have a lot to say about this athlete. With 39, he's on the top of his game at the moment. He won the Polish Lions Trophy last year, 4th place at the Champions Trophy 2019, and of course, winning the competition 2019 in his own country, being the national champion. So ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I think it's time to start the competition. STIHL TIMBERSPORTS is back. Here is the opener for this competition, the Polish Championship, live from Poznan.
Okay, athletes ready.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go!
All right, ladies and gentlemen, looks like we're getting right into the action immediately with the Dubicki brothers. And, you know, there's always going to be a rivalry in families, especially when you got a bunch of big boys. And the Dubicki boys are machines. On the left-hand side, you have Marcin Dubicki. On the right-hand side, or excuse me, on the left-hand side of your screen, it's Kamil Dubicki. On the right-hand side, Marcin Dubicki. Marcin is the older of the brothers at 42, and Kamil is the younger, so he's the baby of the family at 25. And Kamil manages to get through in 28-27, with Marcin managing just a couple of seconds later at 30-35. So a nice start to our competition here in Poznan, Poland, and a good start for the younger, or the youngest, of the Dubicki boys. All right, Bart Janssen checked both of the cuts to make sure everything was good.
Ladies and gentlemen, both cuts are good.
Looking back here, you can see both of these guys have a pretty steady and stable set of hits there on the left-hand side. Marcin Dubicki getting hooked up there. That's something you want to try and avoid, but he got the axe out fairly quickly and turned around on that block. I believe his brother actually got around before he did, but he just went to town on the block on the backside here, or in this case, the front side facing our cameras, and managed to get a couple of lucky cuts there and got through that block before the oldest brother from the Dubickis. So again, Kamil Dubicki with a time of 27.99. That's a personal best. In fact, we have personal best for both of these gentlemen. So Kamil and Marcin in positions 1 and 2 after the first heat of the competition. And both of them getting a personal best. And Kamil, his time will be the time to beat for the upcoming athletes. Now, heat number 2 will feature Marcin Djuszkowski and Tomasz Kowal. And you can see their respective information there. Marcin, the older of the two, but Tomasz, a little bit heavier, not as tall. These kind of things play a factor. They play a role in how far the axe has to travel, how much power and head speed the axe has. These are very, very precise instruments that these guys are using as well. So, left-hand side, Marcin Djuszkowski. Right-hand side, Tomasz Kowal. And you can see the frequency of hits by Tomasz Kowal is much faster than Marcin, but you also see that the power hits are coming from the left-hand side from Marcin Djuszkowski. Tomasz Kowal, oh, a big hook up twice now for Kowal, but he gets over to the other side, and it's those quick hits. It's getting down there very fast. It looks like Djuszkowski has gone through deeper on the backside in his first set of cuts. The question is, will it play a big role in how fast he can get through there? Kowal working hard and fast, and he gets through in a time of 34.69. That puts him currently in 4th place in the competition overall with that time. and Marcin Juskowski with a time of 36.60. These times are, of course, unofficial until our judge, Bart Jansen, says or gives it the thumbs up, and then we are good to go. So our first two heats are done and dusted for today, and we are well underway with competition action here in Poznan, Poland.
Both cuts are good.
And there you see, both cuts are good. And those orange blocks next to the names there with the white numbering on them, that gives the overall position in the competition. And as this is the first discipline of our competition today, that will also indicate the position that they received in the underhand chop. Now you can see here, really big power hits there from Marcin Juskowski, and the quicker, shorter strokes from Tomasz Kowal on the other side. But he did get caught twice, had to release grip in order to get a bit of power to get that axe out. But there you see, he turned around a lot faster than Juskowski did and managed to use the speed of his hits to his advantage and get through that block first. So a very good second heat. And you can see the differing styles that these athletes will have coming into these competitions. By the way, just for your interest out there, if you're curious, the world record for the underhand chop is 12.39 seconds by Braden Meyer from Australia. He did that in 2015. An unbelievable athlete, and if you want to see axe speed, that's the man to observe on this one. And we may well see some records fall for the Polish side as well. All right. Next heat coming up, as the blocks got changed fairly quickly. The team's doing a good job under the circumstances with not so many people there to take the stage down and reset. Krzysztof Majewski and Jacek Grunwald. Couple of big boys here. Personal best for Krzysztof, 26.61. So if he can get his personal best again, then he will take over the top spot here.
Stand to your timber.
Bears
3,
down.
2, 1, go!
Opting to start from different positions on their blocks here, and Majewski getting right into it. Very, very powerful strokes, very fast strokes as well. Jacek Grunwald gets his axe stuck, but he moves over to the other side of his block before Majewski, about 2 seconds before him, in fact. Majewski now on the other side of his, and Grunwald gets his axe caught again. Majewski looks like he might be getting through fairly quickly. Let's see. No, he's gone past his personal best time. Oh, but Jacek Grunwald with a 27.75 is just a hair faster than Kamil Dubicki, who will be relegated down to second place in the heat. So Jacek Grunwald with a time of 27.75 moves to the top of the leaderboard. And yeah, wow. Krzysztof Majewski, he is sitting in fourth place. He didn't get the time that he was hoping for. His personal best, definitely not in that one, with a 31.80.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen.
A little bit of stage
Both
management
cuts are good.
well. There you go, Jacek Grunwald, first place. Krzysztof Majewski in fourth at the moment. Looking back here, Majewski started off well on the front side of his block with fast, powerful strokes, but he did move over to the other side after Grunwald did, and Grunwald, he really just had great technique and kept the flow going. He did get his axe caught once, but it didn't seem to bother him, and he did manage to get through in a great time of 27.52 official now. So it actually improved after the timers checked everything in slow-mo and the time was made official. Krzysztof Majewski still sitting in fourth place with a 31.80. All right, next heat, getting out there on stage. Marcin Darga, Christian Kaczmarek. Both of these guys are well-experienced axemen. Marcin Darga, he has obviously been working out, because from the last time I saw him, he seems to have put on another 3 inches of muscle. This boy is a machine. will Christian Kaczmarek, with his ability to really work that axe. I mean, this is a great discipline for him. Will he be able to take down the power of Marcin Darga? Let's see. Heat number 4, ready to go.
Okay. Athletes ready.
Time to beat,
Stand to your timber.
27.5 seconds.
3, 2,
Currently held by
1,
Jesse
go!
Grunewald, and they are underway. Marcin Darga. Oh, fast axe. Look at the movement. He is going mad at that block. It's crazy. Marcin Darga already through and onto the other side, but Kaczmarek was over just slightly ahead of him. Kaczmarek now, he sent that extra power into the backside. Whoa, this is going to be a close one between these two gentlemen. It may be right on the wire. 23 seconds. Oh, Darga comes off his log. A huge mistake, and Kaczmarek gets through in 24.67 seconds. And unbelievably, Darga, stepping off the log, gets back up, finishes his cuts, and manages to get a fast enough time for second place. And it looks like Kaczmarek has injured his foot. I will have to see back at the replay what happened there. The question now is if all cuts will be validated and marked as good.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, both cuts are good.
All right, so Christian Kaczmarek, hopefully nothing happened to him that will keep him out of the rest of the competition, takes over the top spot with a 24.53. Let's see what we can see here, what happened with his foot. The last drive of the axe, the last few drives here coming down for Kaczmarek, you can see right in front of you, Darga, he just gets a little bit too far on his toes, falls off, gets back up, and oh yeah, right there, his axe got him in the shielding, and you can see him checking it really quickly. That's a heavy axe, so he's got this mesh shielding on his leg, and hopefully that did protect him, but the weight of the axe probably has bruised his leg a little bit. We'll find out more about that later on as the competition goes by, but a fantastic effort there. And after they recheck the time, Marcin Darga moves down to 4th place with a 28.05 with that step off. Christian Kaczmarek does, however, hold on to the top spot. And now coming up to our last two competitors here in the underhand chop, Arkadiusz Drozdek, the Tom Cruise of STIHL TIMBERSPORTS for Poland, going up against the Polish champion, the reigning Polish champion, Michał Dubicki. Michał Dubicki, he is a machine. The middle of the three Dubicki brothers, excuse me. And he also has a very quick axe. Arkadiusz Drozdek has just a laundry list of things that he has done right in timber sports. 11-time Polish champion, silver medalist in the Team World Championship in 2017, 7th in the Individual World Championships in 2018. The man can do it all, but Michał Dubicki, he's the reigning Polish champion. Let's see how these two veterans go up against each other.
Okay. Athletes ready.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1,
Keep a
go!
close eye on Michał Dubicki on the right-hand side. Right away, you can see getting very quick hits with that axe. Arkadiusz Drozdek going for also quick hits, but a little bit more of an upswing. Getting his axe caught a couple of times there, that's going to cost him. And Dubicki is already on the other side. Unbelievable. Look at how quick he's going through this. I can see that being the top time. It is 19.21 seconds, first place with a bullet. Arkadiusz still trying to break through at 25.09. Third place for him at the moment. Again, still unofficial these times until it gets the thumbs up from Bart Janssen, but everything looks good right now for both of these gentlemen. Michał Dubicki absolutely destroying that log. Hot knife through butter for him. Fantastic effort.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen. Both cuts are good.
So a couple of vets right there, and you can see first and third place. So good positioning for those two gentlemen as we are complete now with the underhand chop. And there you see the standings after the first round with Michał Dubicki out in the front. And wow, he was quick to get around to the other side. I can only imagine if there was an audience in there, what kind of volume level they would be giving that athlete right now. Reigning Polish champion, 4th place at the Champions Trophy 2019, and the winner of the Polish Lions Trophy 2019, as you heard from Marcus a little bit earlier on at the opening of our show. So the crew out there, they'll clean up the stage and get everything ready for our next discipline coming up, which will be a favorite for a lot of gas heads out there, the stock saw. And let's take a look now at the overall standings of after the underhand chop here. And as you see, Miguel Dubicki in top spot, Christian Kaczmarek in 2nd place, Arkadiusz Drozdek, a veteran, in 3rd place, and a couple of personal bests for the other Dubicki brothers there. Kamil and Marcin both getting personal bests, so a successful day for the Dubicki boys. And same standings after this first round, or this first event. That will stay as it was in the standings of the underhand chop, because that is the first discipline. And we'll be moving on to the stock saw.
Mamy wyniki konkurencji Underhand chop.
One will consist of the underhand chop, the stock saw, and the standing block chop. In round 2, there will only be 8 athletes left with the single buck and the springboard. And as we move into round 3, there will only be 6 competitors, and then we'll have the hot saw that will decide over who gets to be the Polish champion as we come to the second tool and discipline, and that's the sock saw. Enjoy.
The STIHL MS661CM stock saw is used in STIHL TIMBERSPORTS as the ultimate test of operator's skill. Designed for the toughest jobs in forestry, it produces approximately 7.3 horsepower, has a displacement of 91.1 cc, and weighs 7.4 kilograms. To ensure evenly and fairly matched saws, professional STIHL technicians prepare and test the saws before each competition. Stock saw. After the starting shot, the contestants have to cut 2 wooden discs, so-called cookies, within a 10-centimeter mark, one downward and one upward. The attempt is only valid when both discs have been cut off completely and within the marks.
Oh yeah, it's cookie time, and we're into the second competition of round number 1. Let's take a look at the heats. We'll see Marcin Dubicki take on Christian Kaczmarek in the first heat, followed by Krzysztof Majewski versus Kamil Dubicki, followed by Tomasz Kowal against Michał Dubicki. In heat number 4, we'll have Marcin Darga take on Jacek Grönwald. And last but not least, in the 5th heat will be Marcin Jusowski and Arkadiusz Drozdek. Let's enjoy this together with your commentary from Troy Mannering.
Thanks, Marcus. Looking forward to this one. I really like this event, but been in the past where I've talked to a few of the athletes, and they've said this is a love-hate event. They love the saw, but they hate the stress that it gives them, because sometimes, you know, you just make a small mistake, it goes over the line, and it's just the small things that really play a huge role here. The amount of pressure that you apply to the blade as it goes up through the cookie. If you put too much on, the saw could stall. If you don't put enough on, you're not going up fast enough. There's a lot of things that play a role, and, you know, as much as you think it's a machine and you just put it on and push, there is a technique involved to it as well. So, yeah, there's a lot going on in these athletes' heads, and that's why some of them say it's a love-hate relationship with that particular tool. All right, bringing our guys out now for this stock saw competition. Now remember, this is an off-the-shelf saw. There's nothing that's been done to this saw or the blade to make the blade faster, the motor stronger, or the teeth on the blade itself sharper. It is the same saw that you can go to your local STIHL dealership and buy off the shelf. Now, Christian Kaczmarek is not out there, and it could be a result of the impact that he had with his axe in the underhand chop. I really hope that nothing has happened to prevent him from this competition. And we'll have to wait and find out if there is something in fact going on. We'll update you on that. But in the meantime, it is Marcin Dubicki out there on his own. And there you see that first cookie falls. Now he's got to have the upstroke inside the line on the second cookie. And it looks good from my perspective here with a personal best of 11:02 for Marcin Dubicki. Very, very nice start here. A bit tough for him not to have another person to go against. Oh, no, but Bart Jansen has shown that the cookie is broken, so that will most likely mean a DQ.
We have a DQ and incomplete disc.
Niestety krążek jest niepełen. Dziękujemy Marcinowi Dubickiemu.
So, that is an unfortunate situation, and I've just gotten an update on Christian Kaczmarek. He did, in fact, injure his leg with the axe, so as I understand it, he will not be competing the rest of the competition. That is an unfortunate turn of events. Now, keep a close eye on this here. It's got a good-sized disc there. The first cut looks solid, and he drops that cookie in a good time. Coming back up, though, you could see at the very bottom of that disc, he got in a little bit too thin, and that's where the break in the disc happened. And that is a very important aspect. The discs have to be complete. The cookies, as they call them, have to be complete. There can be no breaks outside of those cookies. And if that is in case the fact, then the athlete did cut outside of the cookie is disqualified. So our next heat in the blocks, Krzysztof Majewski up against Kamil Dubicki. Kamil at 25 years old, the youngest of the Dubicki clan up here, going up against Krzysztof Majewski. And you saw earlier on, the judges were out there and the staff and crew marking the lines for these blocks so that they have a guide at least. But on that upstroke, it's real difficult.
Warm up your saw. Athletes ready.
All right, so the saws have been warmed up and are running, and now it's just about getting down and cutting straight and cutting true. Majewski quickly through, Dubicki right behind him on that upstroke. Looks good for Dubicki. Oh, a little mistake there, and it twisted off. And it looks like we might have two good cuts and two personal bests for these gentlemen. We'll have to see when Bart Jansen has a chance to look at those cookies that have fallen down. It looked like Dubicki's twisted off as the tip of his blade came back outside of the line. Seems like it's okay so far from Bart Jansen. There is a little bit of material left, though, and it could be that Kamil Dubicki will have a DQ. Oh, yeah, you could see the reaction from him right away. He was like, oh, no. That is unfortunate. We'll have to wait for the official calling from Bart here.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen. Stand 1, all good. Stand 2, DQ, not complete cut.
So the two Dubicki boys in the stock saw, both with DQs. Krzysztof Majewski with the time to beat at the moment with 12:09. Christian Kaczmarek is a non-starter because of an injury, and this is a great cut right here. Look at how calm and collected he is on the downstroke, and then lines up and comes up nice and clean for his second one. This is the all-important upstroke right there. Catches in, you can see, thin to win, as they say in timber sports. And again, a look at the upstroke. That's the hardest one to find. A little bit of a hesitation there from Majewski, but he manages to get 2 good cookies inside the lines without breaking out. So far, so good.
Stick.
All right, keep a close eye on the helmet on our athlete on the left-hand side. We're going to have a little story on that a bit later on. Tomasz Kowal and Michal Dubicki. So now it is a chance for one of the Dubicki boys to get a couple of good clean cuts. Tomasz Kowal going to have a big battle on his hands there, but keep, like I said, keep an eye on that helmet. We'll have a little bit of information on that helmet a bit later on. This is a piece of equipment that is being developed by STIHL.
Athletes ready.
All right,
Stand
hands
to
on
your
the wood,
timber.
or stand to
3,
your timber, as they
2,
like to say
1,
now.
Go!
Good start by Michal Dubicki. He got in there very quickly, and he is already through that first cookie. Oh, my goodness. But a last push by Kowal. And, yes, what a fantastic run by Kowal. Second place with a 3. That's a bit of a strange time, to be honest with you. I'll have to double-check that one because I don't think that's accurate. But I was surprised by Michal Dubicki. Oh. Yeah, I've just been informed we have a DQ over the line on stand A. So Michal Dubicki, with his time of 11.78 and 2 clean cookies, he is through with a first place. Unfortunate for Tomasz Kowal, a DQ. So that's 3 DQs in one discipline. That is how tough it is to operate these saws. Let's keep an eye on this here. Starts off with a good clean cut. I don't see any breakage on the way down. The way down looked good. It could be on the upcut that we had the breakout. Let's keep an eye on this one here. It wasn't a breakout. It was over the line, they said. And that is the line drawn up by our judging staff to make sure that everything is within the 10-centimeter marking. Yeah, and he knew it right away. He walked over to the protective glass that separates the 2 athletes because he saw that he went over the line. So a DQ for Tomasz Kowal, and Michal Dubicki is currently leading in stock saw. Next heat, Marcin Darga against Jacek Grunwald. Couple of big boys here. Now, before the saw gets started and warmed up, they are allowed to test a couple of the lifts, and that is exactly what Marcin Darga is doing. Practice makes perfect. Muscle memory is a key factor, and you can see there the 2 white lines. Those are the lines that the athletes have to cut within to make their cookies. The closest white one is going to be the start line for Marcin there, and the farthest one is the limit to where they can cut. All right, warning whistle has been blown. Here we go.
Okay, gentlemen, warm up your saw.
So they now have a couple of seconds to warm up those saws, get them started, make sure they're running cleanly. They'll leave them running as they put them down on the rubber mats, because with that piston running inside the saw, it will hop around. You can see right there from that picture that it does hop around a bit.
Ready.
Here we go.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go!
Great start by Marcin Darga. Jacek Grunwald also looking very good. Darga through first. Grunwald right behind him. Close-up picture of Darga there. The tip of his saw comes through. 11.65 to an 11.49. Very close heat for a second and third place. And it was actually Grunwald who was slightly faster on the upstroke. Final checks from Bart Janssen here, but I think that we are going to have 2 good cuts
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, both cuts are good.
There we go, confirmed. So Marcin Darga, 11:46. Jacek Grunwald with an 11:29. So a little bit of a switching around in the stock saw results. Jacek Grunwald now in the lead with an 11:29. Marcin Darga sitting right behind him with an 11:46. And that is going to change the overall standings when we look at those a little bit later on. And again, looking back, this is the precision you need to have on that upstroke, the right amount of power, and making sure that you don't push too hard so that chain stalls the engine. That would be the nightmare scenario for any athlete in timber sports in the stock saw event, because you have to stop and restart the saw, and that just kills the amount of time that you need to get through those blocks. All right, heat number 5 in the stock saw. Marcin Jaskowski up against Arkadiusz Drozdek. Jaskowski will be on the left-hand side of your screens, Drozdek on the right. And as we said there, Drozdek is a veteran. A couple of good times in the personal best for these gentlemen. Fairly close to the stock saw world record held by Christophe Leroux from France. Got that record in 2018 with a 9.90. And I apologize in advance for any of you fans of the Polish crew for butchering these names.
Okay,
I'm doing my best.
Warm up your saw.
The MS661 saw, one of the most dependable saws on the market. This is why it's used by most professional timbermen and
Athletes
forestry
ready.
experts.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go!
Wow, quick start by Jaskowski. Drozdek very strong in this discipline, though. Jaskowski gets that upcut started a little bit before Drozdek did. Oh, great time! Can it be true? A world record here? No, I don't know. We're going to have to double check this. It's a 9.63, and if that is actually official, we have a new world record here. Oh, wow. That would be exciting here, especially for the guys in Poland. Unbelievable. We'll have to wait for the official call. But if it is the time that they say here with a 9.51, he will have beat the world record by 39 hundredths of a second.
Okay. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. Stand 2, all good. Stand 1, a new world record. Both cuts are good.
Fantastic. Wow. What a cut from Marcin Jaskowski. 9.51. It's official. A new world record, and you witnessed it here in Poland at the Polish Championships. Amazing. Look at the start here again by Jaskowski. He was quick up on the log. I do believe Drozdek's transfer on the upstroke was a little bit faster, but the upstroke by Jaskowski was just optimal. The placement, the speed, you could see thin to win. Wow, what a finish, and a new world record, and Arkadiusz Drozdek also with a personal best of 10.44. The man on the left-hand side of your screen is going to be celebrating that record tonight for sure. Amazing, and big congratulations to him. Amazing. All right, so here we have the standings in stock saw. Yeah, as you saw it, Jaskowski with the world record and a fast time today, 9.51. Arkadiusz Drozdek right behind him. Then we have Grunwald, Darga, Dubicki, and Maszewski. Those are the guys that all had actual times that counted. The rest are unfortunately DQ'd, and we did not see Kaczmarek because he injured his foot and will not be in the rest of the competition. And that means the overall standings will have also changed. Arkadia Strostek now moves into the overall lead with 21 points. Mikael Dubicki right behind him. Could this be a battle between two former champions? We'll find out. Jacek Gronwald not far behind with 19 points, and Marcin Darga was 16 behind them. It's amazing. Good battles going on so far, and those are our overall results.
How awesome is that? A new world record. I can't believe it, and it's really exciting. Taking a look at these first two competitions, we have 3 ace athletes within only 2 points. 21 points for Drozdek, 20 points for Dubicki, and Grönwald right behind and still in there with 19 points. We've got one more competition coming up in this round number 1, and don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, only 8 athletes proceed to the next round. And this discipline is the standing block chop. Take a closer look at that.
Standing block chop. At the standing block chop, the felling of a tree with an axe is simulated. A vertically positioned wooden block with a diameter of 30 centimeters has to be cut through both sides. A powerful and precise swing with the axe is the premise of a good result.
So let's take a look at the heats in this standing block chop. We will have Marcin Dubicki taking on Kamil Dubicki. We had that in the first competition, the two brothers taking on each other. Second heat, Tomasz Kobol taking on Marcin Juszowski. That's going to be a very interesting one. Followed by Krzysztof Majewski against Christian Kaczmarek. And then Marcin Darga against Arkadiusz Drozdek. And the last heat is going to be Jacek Grönwald versus Michal Dubicki. And if we take a look at the overall standing, that's going to be a very, very important duel. Enjoy, and over to you, Troy. This is going on like, whoa.
No doubt whoa is the right word after that last one, Marcus. I mean, a world record. Wasn't expecting that. I thought some records would drop, but a new world record in Stocksaw, that's pretty amazing, and I'm glad that we were all here to witness it. And if you're just joining us online with our live on Facebook broadcast, this is the STIHL TIMBERSPORTS Polish Championships 2020. Under the circumstances, with COVID-19 being a thing around the world, obviously you're not seeing any audience members here, but the excitement is still there. And if you want to tell your friends to join in on that excitement, just pass on that we are live on Facebook and over the STIHL TIMBERSPORTS webpage. So, heat now coming up between the Dubicki boys, the youngest and the oldest, setting up for the standing block chop. And here we go.
Athletes ready.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go!
All right, this time positions are changed, and you can see these guys are intact with each other. It's almost like a drum set going off here. Kamil Dubicki, Marcin Dubicki, both really quick to the other side now. Deep cuts for these guys on the first side, but I'm going to say that Kamil looks a little bit quicker here. He's got some big, heavy hits, though, but Marcin coming strong from behind. Looks like he's got a good piece of wood. Oh! And Marcin Dubicki does it with a time of 29:16. And it looks like Kamil was struggling with that axe getting caught, and a positioning of the axe head in a couple of times just wasn't really optimal. And he is tired after that one, a 41.56. Wow. Tough job going up against the brother, but good to see the action still going on, and it's never give up, never say die. So Marcin Dubicki, the time to beat right now with a 28.89, a personal best.
All good to good.
Not bad for a guy in his 40s. You can see here, pretty evenly paced at this point in the competition before either of the gentlemen moved around to the other side of that block. And I got the impression that Kamil Dubicki was just slightly ahead, and here is where he goes around. Yeah, but it's not that much ahead of Marcin You can see here Marcin was slabbing out some big pieces off of his block there. And these final couple of drives, yeah, that was a big power move right there. And that final blow did it for Marcin in a time of 2:8.89. And you can see the time still running in the background for Kamil Dubicki as our team gets those logs or those blocks free for the next heat coming up between Tomasz Kowal and Marcin Jaskowski. So Marcin will be riding a high after that world record in stock saw. Will he be able to take that confidence into this heat for standing block up against Tomasz Kowal? America's Matt Kogar owns the world record for standing block chop, a time of 11:03. He got that in 2018. So 11:03 is fast. We're a little bit off pace here, but we've just started this competition, so let us see how that develops. You can see these big bolts being turned into those logs to make sure that they stay in position. Last thing we need is one of those logs flying out of the stand because it wasn't securely set in place. Bart Janssen also responsible for the wood that is set out for all TIMBERSPORTS competitions around the world. Premium wood. Tomasz Kowal here in front of our position, setting his axes to the side. The athletes are allowed to take 2 axes out on stage. In the event that something does occur with one of the axes, they can switch.
Okay. Athletes ready.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go!
Tomasz Kowal. First big slab out for him. Jaskowski really pushing hard on his block on the B side. That's the far end of the shot from there. Jaskowski moving over to the other side now. Nice big slab there for him. Tomasz Kowal trying to push through. These times are well off pace though right now. And Tomasz Kowal with a final flourish gets it done in 38:17. Jaskowski not that far behind with a 38:92. And again, I'll remind you that these are just temporary scores and unofficial until our judge officially makes them official. A lot of officializing and officiating going on here.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, both guts are good.
So Tomasz Kowal and Marcin Jaskowski with a 37.81 and a 38.69, a good 8 and 9 seconds off pace from Marcin Dubicki. And you can see here, it took a while for Tomasz Kowal to get that first slab out. He had made a few cuts, and the angle of his axe might have played a role in that, and then he finally got some flat hits in. Needed to angle that axe a little bit more to get in deeper, and then, yeah, now we're starting to see some of those angle adjustments making a big deal in how much and how deep he's getting in to that block. On the far side, you see Jaskowski, he made the changeover earlier, and Kowal opted to go a bit deeper on his first side, making it a little bit easier for him not to have to work so hard on the back side. And it paid off for Kowal, who came out ahead in this particular heat, currently sitting in second place. But like I said, their times are respectively 8 and 9 seconds off pace. So yeah, it's going to be tough for them to stay in the upper echelon of this particular competition. So there you see so far in standing block, Marcin Dubicki at the top with a 28.89. That is the time to beat to take over the first position here in standing block. So our next heat will have Krzysztof Majewski, and unfortunately, well, like we mentioned earlier, Christian Kaczmarek will not be competing the rest of the way through here after injuring his right leg with the axe in the underhand chop, the first discipline of the competition, which is really unfortunate because Christian is such a strong competitor, and we hope that he is okay and wish him all the best.
Okay. Athlete ready.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go!
So this is a tough situation here for Krzysztof Majewski. He's got to be focused and all about the time because he can't see out of the corner of his eye what Kaczmarek would be doing on his block. But right now, Krzysztof Majewski is looking very, very good. Oh, he's got a knot right there in the middle of that slab, though. Knots are very hard to cut through, and the guys do their best to try and choose the blocks that are as knot-free as possible, but that's going to make it a little bit more difficult to cut through that spot. Bit of a hook up there. 33, 34 seconds elapsed now. He again is off pace, working hard to try and get those last final blows and cut through it. One more flourish should do it. There you go. Majewski with a time of 42:29. That one took a while.
Krzysztofie, jakbyś zechciał pozostać na miejscu, nie schodzić ze sceny.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, cut's good.
Dziękujemy.
All right, so Krzysztof Majewski with a time of 41:91 officially, 13 seconds off pace, sitting down in 5th place in the results for the standing block. You can see there on that side, that picture there is a little dark spot that is just isolated in the middle of that. That indicates that perhaps there was a knot deep inside that block, making it a little bit more difficult to get through. Here's that final blow to take off the top, or excuse me, the second to last blow. There it is. All right, final heat of the standing block chop coming up. Jacek Grunwald and Michał Dubicki. And this is a discipline where Michał Dubicki is very strong. You saw him on the underhand chop earlier with a very, very, Marcin Darga, second to last heat. I lied to you. Heat number 4, we're in Marcin Darga, Arkadiusz Drozdek. So Marcin Darga, this is a discipline that favors his power, but Arkadiusz Drozdek is absolutely a technician when it comes to this particular discipline. So it could be that we're going to see a battle between absolute power and technical ability. Now, if Marcin Darga has improved his technical ability and his swing angle over the last year or so, then we may see that power and that technical ability coming through for an absolutely dominant performance. Let's find out. Last minute checks there. Blocks are secure. You can see Arkadiusz there doing a couple of test swings. You may also notice that there is a bit of a sheen, a liquid sheen on that axe head of his. They are allowed to put on a lube for those first few hits just so that the axe doesn't get stuck in the wood so quickly. But after 2 or 3 hits, that lube is more or less gone from the axe head, and it's all about just keeping the flow going. Last minute adjustments on the log, on the block from Arkadiusz Drozdek. Darga fully concentrated there.
Okay. Athletes ready.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go!
Very quick hits from Darga. Arkadiusz on the backside, you could see that skill and that knowledge of the angles is just absolutely fantastic. Darga, depending on quick hits and just pure power. Drozdek moves to the other side. Darga hammering away, big slabs coming off for the big man. Arkadiusz Drozdek working well on the backside. A little hop from his axe there. And let's see if Drozdek can get through in a good time. Oh, another little hop. He slipped on that one. Marcin Darga still working on his as the time is still running. Drozdek with a 35-61. Darga with a 38-33. So Arkadiusz Drozdek sitting in second place in the standing block. Marcin Darga in fourth place in the standing block. If you're confused by the orange blocks with the white numbers in, that is the positioning in the overall standings, just as a quick update for you when you see that on screen, not to be confused of the actual results in the event or in the discipline, excuse me.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, both cuts are good.
So official time now, 37 for Drozdek and 38.05 for Darga. And that actually puts both of them in positions 1 and 2 in the overall standings. And Jacek Grunwald and Mikael Dubicki will be coming out next for their heat as we look at some of the slow-mo action from this heat number 4. Arkadiusz Drozdek in the background. When he switches to the other side, there was a couple of unusual hops from his axe, which is not something that you see very often from Arkadiusz. You can see one right here, coming up, I believe. A little stick. There's the hop right there. And that just bounced out on him. It didn't really get a good cut. That could have been as a result of the angle of his axe. And like I said, you know, he's such a technician. That doesn't usually happen. Final blow there for Arkadiusz Drozdek. 2 more here for Darga. What a battle, though, between 2 really big names in timber sports in Poland. So, again, normally these guys will have air hammers to tighten up those bolts, but I guess we're going analog here with the wrenches and having to tighten those blocks into position. You can see the markings on the block as well. The blocks are all chosen by the athletes through lottery draw, and then once they have their blocks for each of the individual disciplines, then they can mark them up with what you see on there, the guidelines for where they want to hit, just to keep them, you know, honest about their attack on these blocks. But it is a fair process when these athletes choose their blocks. And there you see Jacek Grunwald going up against the reigning Polish champion, Mikael Dubicki. As I started to say earlier on, before I got handed my hat with heat number 4, Mikael Dubicki is a beast when it comes to this discipline. His axe moves so quickly and also with power and precision. So he is going to be a very, very tough individual to beat here. I haven't seen Jacek Grunwald in this discipline, so I'm just basing the information on, you know, he was the Polish champion in 2016, silver medalist in the World Championship with the Team Poland in 2017. He has the skills, obviously. The question is, does he still have it to go up against a guy like Mikael Dubicki? Let's find out. Jacek Grunwald, 47 years of age. Mikael Dubicki, 39. Marcin Dubicki giving his brother a bit of a pump up there. All right, here we go. Heat number 5, standing block chop.
Okay. Athletes ready.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go!
Marcin Dubicki still holds the time to beat with a personal best here today with a 28.89. Wow, this is a great heat already. Huge slab just came off of that for Grunwald, causing him problems on that first side, but Mika Dubicki moved over quickly, and Grunwald may have a bit of an issue with that massive slab that came off, and he's looking very good going up against the reigning champion, and he beats him with a time of 24.13. Mika Dubicki with a time of 25.21. Both those gentlemen move into first and second place in the overall standing respectively with these times. Again, everything being equal and those times becoming official. Fantastic effort from Jacek Grunwald, though. Absolutely amazing. A 23.85 and a 24.89.
Both good, so good.
There you go, official times. And those guys take over first and second place in the standing block chop standings. And they both left the stage before Bart Janssen had a chance to blow his whistle and make it official. You can see coming up here, there's a big slab that comes off of there. There it is right there for Grunwald. And that, as he came around, those two big slabs could have gotten in his way and caused a problem as he comes around, but he managed to navigate quite well around that block, and man, he just made short work of it. Jacek Grunwald with a fantastic effort here against the reigning Polish champion, Mika Dubicki, and he is pumped about that. He wouldn't mind having a Polish championship back and being able to represent Poland in the World Championship. So in the discipline, standing block chop, Jacek Grunwald, as you saw, with the top time and score of 12 points. Mika Dubicki sitting in second there, with Marcin Dubicki in third place and a personal best of 28.89. And then the times start adding up. 37, 37.81, 38.05 for Arkadiusz Drozdek, Kowal, and as we move down, Marcin Darga as well. So the times got slower as we went down the list by a stretch. But the overall standings, we do have an interesting thing happening here. Mika Dubicki and Jacek Grunwald are tied for the top spot with 31 points, where Arkadiusz Drozdek, not so strong in that last discipline, is sitting in third place with 30 points. So a real tight battle as we move on. Marcin Darga, Marcin Juszkowski, Krzysztof Madziewski, and Marcin Dubicki and Kamil Dubicki will all be moving into the next round.
Po pierwszych trzech konkurencjach Michał Dubicki zajmuje pierwsze miejsce.
Now that's what I call an entertaining first round. Thumbs up to the crew in Poznan, by the way. They are doing a great job, just like you try. You sound like a real Polish commentator. The way you pronounce the names is getting better and better. Of course, now we want to take a closer look at the best scenes of this first round. The highlights coming up for your entertainment right now. Awesome pictures. I can't wait for round two to start. Of course, in round one, the athletes received 12 points for first place, 11 for second, and 10 for third. This changes now. We get 16 points for the winner of the competition, 14 for the second place, 12 for the third, 10 for the fourth, and so on. Exactly how it works, well, we'll show you in a short video. This is the format of round number 2.
All right, so as you saw in round 1, we had the underhand chop and stock saw and standing block chop, and now with just 8 athletes moving on to round number 2, where we will have the single buck and springboard. Now the results from the single buck and springboard will determine the overall points, and then again we'll whittle it down to just 6 athletes for the last discipline, the hot saws. Another one for you gas heads if you like performance saws.
So single buck and springboard coming up. Here is tool and discipline of single buck. Enjoy.
The 2-meter-long cross-cut saw used for the single buck discipline is made especially for competition. A series of consistently patterned 10-centimeter-long teeth are cut with a laser on one side of the saw and then hand sharpened. Saw teeth are divided into 2 types, cutters and rakers, just like on the old school saws. The saw weighs about 5 kilos and its base price starts at around 1,500 euros. Single buck. The single buck is a one-man saw about 2 meters long. With this, the athletes have to cut off a complete disc of a 46-centimeter thick wooden block. The perfect interplay between rhythm and strength is the key to success.
Eight athletes left to start in the single buck, and the heats are the following. We have the brothers Kamil and Marcin Dubicki in heat number 1, followed by heat number 2 with Krzysztof Majewski and Marcin Juskowski. In heat 3, Marcin Darga takes on Arkadiusz Doroczek, and last but not least, in heat number 4, we'll have Jacek Grönwald take on Michal Dubicki. Let's do this.
So the single buck, it is one of the most difficult disciplines for the simple fact that it is not all about power. Like all these disciplines, you need to have a modicum of technique as well, but more than any other, technique plays a massive role in single buck, because if you twist the saw or if you bend it even the slightest, the saw could hook up and stop moving altogether. Now, once this 2-meter-long saw stops moving inside that block groove, getting it started again is requiring a lot of effort, and all that effort requires a lot of time, and that's when it gets into the trouble of the time. The stock or the single buck, by the way, the world record has been held for a long time by Jason Wynyard from New Zealand. He got this record back in 2007 with a 9.39 second time. I mean, that is incredible. I don't know if we're going to be seeing that today. It's held up a long time. Anything can happen, though. We've already seen a world record today for the stock saw, and yeah, let's see how it goes on tonight. So just to give you an update on what's coming up, 5th of September, that is today, Polish Championships. Then on the 13th of September, we have the German Championships, live stream from 12 p.m. Central European time here. Make sure you tune in for that. A week later, on the 20th, we have the Six Nations Rookie Cup, also here in Munich. And then on the 20th of September, the Four Nations Cup will be happening. Not long after that, the 26th of September, is the International Rookie Cup and the Czech Championships. Then the 3rd of October, Benelux is in the mix. 8th of November, the European Trophy. That's going to be happening here with a live stream coming from Munich, Germany. And then the 29th of November, the big dog, the Individual World Championship, all happening from Munich, and the live stream will be pumping out there as well. So make sure you tune in for that, and as you see updates and full schedule, you can visit data.stihltimbersports.com. So there you could see those massively long saws, 10-centimeter cutting and sweeping teeth. And heat 1 Again, the Dubicki boys going up against each other. That's got to be fun for Mom. Man, it must have been a perfect storm when Jason Wynyard got that 9.39 seconds when we're looking at the personal best for these guys here with a 24.59 and a 23.58. And that is saying something because those are also quite good times. Single Buck is a favorite of Jason Wynyard from New Zealand, and he is such a big man. He uses every ounce of his height and his
Athletes
strength.
ready.
So here we go.
Stand
Keep a
to
close
your
eye
timber.
on the saw twist,
3,
and it's
2,
bend and bow.
1, go!
Here we go. All right, both of these guys. Oh, there's our first hookup by Kamil Dubicki. That's going to cost him some time and some energy. Marcin Dubicki looking like he's a little bit over halfway through. Yeah, more than halfway through, in fact, from that angle. And Marcin Dubicki, I think, is going to have a personal best here. Yes, 21.56. Kamil Dubicki still struggling a bit. Oh, he's hooking up that saw again. The angle that you pull and push the saw with plays such a huge role. It's got to be clean, and it's got to have nice flow. And if you have just a little bit too much angle going in or coming out, it's going to hook up those teeth, and it's really hard to keep moving.
Both cuts are good.
So, Marcin Dubicki with a personal best time of 21.27. Kamil Dubicki didn't quite get to his personal best, and he is off pace by 8 seconds as the guys will come out and reset the blocks. And you can see here the strokes by Marcin Dubicki are just a little bit longer. Kamil Dubicki a bit stockier, a bit shorter strokes, and you can see the angle gets hooked up, and that saw just stops in a couple of occasions. And there you see the effort required to restart that 2-meter-long saw, even with a wedge helper there. Just really, really a tough job for Kamil once those teeth bit too much and stopped the saw 2-3 times in this heat for him. Tough break. All right, our next two athletes out, Krzysztof Majewski and Marcin Jaskowski. And we also already saw Marcin Jaskowski with that world record in stock saw. Let's see how he fares against the big man, Krzysztof Majewski. Bart Janssen helping with positioning of the saw, gives a thumbs up, and start position is locked and loaded. Now, in some cases, you'll see the guys turn the saw over or reposition without actually increasing the cut depth. It's allowed. If they turn the saw over and put the flat non-tooth side in, sometimes they'll do a couple of practice strokes just to get the feel for it. See there, Arkadiusz Drozdek spraying some lube on that saw, and he will also, once the saw disappears inside that block, he will put a wedge in the top.
Ready.
This is allowed.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go!
Good start by Majewski. Oh, but he gets a quick hookup and slowed him down, but the same thing happened for Jaskowski on the other side. Majewski back in it, though. Great technique now as he gets down through the bottom of that log. Looks like we're going to have a real good time. Another quick hookup, but it didn't seem to bother him as he cuts through. No, he's got a little bit left there that's got to be cut off, and he did get it in a time of 17.86. His personal best is 14.65, so you know he's strong in this discipline. Personal best for Jaskowski is actually 19.93, so this was not his best performance today. Krzysztof Majewski with the time to beat now, though, with a 19.29. Solid performance. There was just a little piece of wood left on the block at the bottom. This is what Bart Janssen is checking right now. because the cookie does have to be clean and cut all the way through. And he'll inspect that really, really carefully to be sure that he's making a fair assessment. And he's even putting the saw up to make sure. And if the saw can sit on it, then it's going to be a DQ. Yep, there you go. So that last little cut, if he can make that come off, then I suspect we're going to have a DQ here. Yep. And that happens sometimes. You get excited in the heat of the moment, that big saw coming down to the bottom. You want to get it done. It's a bit of a twist, and then it breaks off.
Stand 2 is good. Stand 1 is a DQ. The disc was not complete. I tried to cut it. I could cut it, so he could also cut it. So unfortunately, DQ.
Yeah, that is an unfortunate situation for Krzysztof Majewski. He had such a good time. And as we see here, just a couple of sticks by Majewski there as they get down through the bottom. And it's just the excitement and a little twist breaks the block off. He tried to cut it away, but left a little bit too much material there. And you could see those cutting and sweeping teeth doing their job, kicking out materials. And that was the good cut there by Jaskowski. Unfortunately, the time wasn't great, so he's currently sitting in third place in single buck. All right, we can see a little bit of oil absorber going down on the floor. A lot of spray coming off of the saws from the lube that they put on there. Marcin Darga needing some extra grip on the floor to make sure that his feet don't slip away from him while he's in this competition. He'll be going up against Arkadiusz Drozdek. Overzealous crew member making sure that everything is clean, but we want to keep that stuff on the ground to absorb that oil that came off of the saws. Arkadiusz Drozdek, former Polish champion on the right-hand side. You could see, if you look closely at his shoes, he's got cleats on the bottom for better grip on the floor. Maybe Marcin Darga should have opted for that and not bothered with all the stuff on the floor. So quick placement of the saw and another quick check on the side B by Bart Janssen. He's got a special tool there to measure the depth of the saw position to make sure that it's not too deep. And once he believes that positions are all correct and good to go, he will give the go-ahead for competition.
Technique trail already. Okay. Athletes ready.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go!
Arkadiusz Drozdek with a couple of short little strokes to get started, and now he gets into the flow of things. Marcin Darga struggling. He tried to get a little bit too overzealous with those first few cuts, and that slowed him down, but now he seems to have the flow, and he's got that power going. Oh, but he gets stuck with a little twist, and that's causing him problems. Arkadiusz Drozdek also gets stuck, but he's at the bottom of his block, gets it done in 2-1, 2-3. Marcin Darga with a 2-5, 1-8. Pretty good times, first and second at the moment in the overall standings, and Arkadiusz Drozdek with the fastest time in the single buck puts him at the top of the single buck results. Marcin Darga sits in third place with a 24.66 in single buck.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, both cuts are good.
Bravo.
All right, there you go, it's official. First and third in the single buck results and first and second in the overall standings. But there is still one more heat to go with Jacek Grunwald and Mika Dubicki.
Single buck będą rywalizować Jacek Grunwald i Michał Dubicki. Na stanowisku pierwszym Jacek Gręwald, na stanowisku drugim Michał Dubicki.
So right now it's just a cut that is made by the stock saw there in order to make sure that the block is square, and then they'll remark the block and check that everything is in order. And you can see here Jacek Grönvall doing what I was mentioning earlier on, putting the saw in upside down and just practicing the flow of his strokes. Again, these two going up against each other. The reigning Polish champion and the former Polish champion from 2016. Should be another battle. And it looks like they are going to actually replace the block or reposition the block on the B stand. I'm not quite sure what happened here. They might have gone a little bit too deep with that reset cut and have to pull it out a little bit or replace it completely. Ah, no, they're just turning it around, so I guess they've got a flat side on the inside already set. And there you see Jacek Grönvall practicing the stroke. 2-meter-long saw, 10-centimeter-long sweeper and cutter teeth.
Hi, my name's Spike Milton, Global Sports Director for STIHL Timbersports. I'd like to deal with the topic premium wood. And now I'd like to show you where our premium wood comes from and how we source the premium wood for our chopping and sawing disciplines.
Here we are on a poplar tree plantation in Belgium, where we pick our premium competition wood.
I just measured the tree with a register graph. We can measure with this tool how hard or how soft the wood is and are there nuts in it. This tree looks very good, so I decide this plantation can work for us for the next season.
Now, in the yard of Bart Jansen, the tree trunks are examined for knots and defects, then cut into the required lengths, and then finished on the peeler. From this point on, the blocks leave Bart Jansen's yard and are distributed to all international and most national steel timber sports competitions, thereafter guaranteeing fair competitions to each athlete. Our block has made it all the way from Belgium to our competition.
So now we know where the wood comes from. Isn't it great to be back? STIHL Timber Sports. I just love it. Troy, are you ready for the next heat? I am definitely ready. Can't wait.
Absolutely ready, Marcus. I mean, this is another heat and another showdown between two champions, Jacek Grönvall and Michał Dubicki. These two guys went at it earlier on in the standing block chop, and we're seeing them head-to-head again here. I'm going to give a little bit of a nod to Michał Dubicki because I've seen him absolutely destroy this single buck before. Let's see if Jacek Grönvall can surprise me today.
3, 2, 1, go!
A very fast start from Mika Dubicki. I wonder if that was even maybe a bit too early. Jacek Grunwald got in there late. He might have even been surprised, but Mika Dubicki looking very good. Great flow, good rock on that saw, and he is through in a time of 16.62. Single buck first and competition overall first. Oh, Grunwald has broken off a piece, and he needs to get back in there and cut that little section away so that he's not disqualified. But that's going to cause him to have a really slow time. Unfortunately for him, the time looks to be around 28:15. Mika Dubicki with a 16.62. So Jacek Grunwald 11.53 seconds off pace because of that one, a bit of a slow start, and because of that one small mistake at the end.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, stand 1, all good. Stand 2, we checked the start, and the start was 0.03 seconds. Also good. Both counts are good.
Wow. See, I thought it was a really fast start from Mika Dubicki, and they did do a timing review. Now in competition control, they have slow motion cameras that check up to the thousandth of a millisecond the movement here. And we'll watch this really quickly. Mika Dubicki, really fast start. Man, those synapses were firing for that man. All right, with that time, Mika Dubicki with a 16.39 is the top man in single buck. Arkadiusz Drozdek 4 seconds off pace behind him in second, and Marcin Dubicki in third place for the single buck, and that will also change the results in the overall. We'll bring that to you in a second, but you can see here Mika Dubicki absolutely rocking this single buck. Fantastic job by him. Mika Dubicki looking like he's well on his way to becoming Polish champion again, but it's not over yet. Still 2 more disciplines in there. Right there, a bit of an angled push by Jacek Grunwald that bowed the saw, that pushed off the piece, and now he's got to reposition that saw in a most uncomfortable way to get that last little bit of that block off to make the cut legal, and he did do it, but that killed his time big time. And there we see the trophies for the event. And here we go. As I said, Mika Dubicki with the top time of 16.39, the only one to get under the 20-second mark. Arkadiusz Drozdek and Marcin Dubicki second and third respectively. And then we have Darga, Grunwald, Dubicki, Juskowski, and Majewski rounding out the remaining 6 or 5 positions there. And another look at the trophies, and now that's going to change how things look in the overall standings. Mika Dubicki up on top, just ahead by 3 points, with 47 points ahead of Arkadiusz Drozdek, who has 44, and Jacek Grunwald still in the mix with 39 points, but Marcin Darga is not that far behind with 33, but there is a bit of work to be done to catch up to the top man now, Mika Dubicki.
So after 4 disciplines, Michal Dubicki up by 3 points. This is still very close, and anything can happen. By the way, how do you like my cap? Some people call it my helmet. And to tell you the truth, STIHL have developed a very new helmet for firefighters. And if you want to know more about that, well, take a closer look.
duties. The KZPT in Kalisz have been providing firefighters with comprehensive support in the form of an integrated personal protective equipment solution, including high-quality, light and durable helmets.
Full respect to all firefighters all over the world. And it's time for discipline number 5 of 6. It's time to take a closer look at tool and discipline of the springboard.
Springboard. Springboard simulates the traditional way of felling trees, climbing up over thick roots. First, notches known as pockets are chopped into the log. 2 springboards are then anchored into these pockets. The athlete then climbs up to chop through a 27-centimeter thick block of wood in the fastest time possible.
Oh, let's take a closer look at the starting order for this discipline. Heat 1, as we've seen so many times before, the two brothers competing, Kamil Dubicki and Marcin Dubicki. In heat number 2, we'll have Krzysztof Majewski take on Marcin Juskowski, and in heat 3, Marcin Darga taking on Arkadiusz Drozdek. And in the final heat, heat number 4, Jacek Grönwald versus Michal Dubicki, the current leader. Off we go. It's back to you, Troy.
Out because springboard is a very interesting discipline. As you heard, it's cutting notches into the block or into the stand, getting up there, and you really have to have those notches cut properly. A 3-hit pocket is optimal. You may well see a couple of 3-hit pockets today. I'll explain a little bit more about what that means later on. And by the way, if you want to get involved with the conversation, hashtag #KissMyAxe and jump in. It's always fun to see the comments and stuff that's coming from people around the world when they get involved online. And there you can see a lot of preparation going on by Michal Dubicki and Juskowski, excuse me. And you can see those are very high blocks, and you've got to get up there and cut that block off the top of the 27-inch block. So, yeah, a lot of work to do here. And I'll explain the whole 3-hit pocket and board placement momentarily. Just remember, though, if you're 2+ meters off the ground, holding a sharp instrument in your hand, you want to make sure you're in a stable position, and that's why those pockets are so important and placement of your board is so important. A lot of action going on out there, and I can't see the block on top of stand B, or A, excuse me. It looks like that still needs to be attached to the top. And under the circumstances, normally we have multiple stands or multiple setups, but in this case we only have the 2, so each time it needs to be reset and reorganized for the athletes to make sure that they've got the optimal setup for themselves. Just Kamil Dubicki setting that top block in place. Massively long screws to make sure that it's secured in position properly. Back in 2016, Sterling Hart from Canada managed to get the world record in this discipline with an incredible time. This was in Stuttgart at the World Championship with a time of 35.67. Now, at the moment, we don't have any times for the guys here in Poland, and I will update you on that as soon as something pops up on my screen here. But 35.67 is an incredible time. Absolutely fantastic. And here we go. We'll get the block on top of stand A here. This whole process will have to be repeated 4 times for heat 1, 2, 3, and 4 before we can get in to the results of the springboard. And as you heard from the introduction of this discipline earlier on, this was a form of felling trees under difficult circumstances, or if you had to get up higher on a tree to get the top of it off from a position up higher, a little bit like what you see in some shows around the world where they actually climb up with a strap and boot spikes.
Troy, I'd like to use that time to ask you again for that hashtag you shouted out. Was that Kiss My Axe?
Hashtag Kiss My Axe. Oh!
How about this? I just found this under my table.
You found my hatchet.
Yeah, is that yours? I'm not sure. It's not mine.
I'll claim it. It's pretty classic, that one right there.
Yeah, so everybody back home, hashtag Kiss My Axe. We'd love to see your best posts. Some crazy pictures we've seen so far, and now that we're back, I mean, that would be awesome. Troy, back to you.
Thanks, Marcus. A lot of activity still going on stage. It looks like we're very, very close to having the first stands ready for heat number 1 between the Dubicki boys. And again, as Marcus mentioned earlier on, this has been a ongoing situation throughout this competition. They've always started off the competition going head-to-head. And the Dubicki boys, as I said, off the hop, you know, brotherly love is thrown out the window when it comes down to winning something, and a competition is always good. You know how it is in the wild. The male lions will eat their cubs before they'll let them take over the pride. And that's what's going on here. These two boys are going to see who can take the pride between the two of them. We already know that Mika Dubicki is the reigning Polish champion, and Kamil and Marcin Dubicki wouldn't mind being in that position either, but they're going to battle away in this first heat in Springboard to see who takes home the honors in this discipline. Now you can see those springboards specially designed with a fairly sharp metal end holding the long, about 175 centimeter long piece of wood, 185 centimeter depending on the board. It can't be too long because you have to have stability at the same time as having a little bit of spring in there. You don't want them too long, otherwise they'll just start bending down like a diving board. And that beak at the end of the springboard locks in place. Now on the top of the springboard, some guys have hash marks cut in, other guys have like a skateboard grip tape on top, other guys have painted the top of the board with paint and then sprinkled sand on to give it a rough surface. There's all sorts of different variations of how the springboard is set. One thing that is fairly common throughout the springboard, though, is the portion of the springboard where you stand on is almost always slightly concave to give your foot good traction and good hold. All right, now here's what we were talking about with these 3 hit pockets. If you can get 3 perfect hits and get your springboard in place, then you've got a good start. Here we go. Kamil and Marcin Dubicki going against each other.
1, go!
All right, a lot of hits going on to make sure that these pockets are set just right. But it is Marcin Dubicki getting up on there first. Now you can see what's happening with his board there. It went in at a bit of an angle and locked in place as he starts to set the pocket for his second board. Kamil still trying to find the pocket. It's going to take him a long time to get up there, and he's already past the time of the world record. But he's got a good lock on his board right now. Marcin Dubicki putting up his second board and will move up to the higher level to start working on that top block. One quick push, and it looks like his second board is well and good solidly put in place. And now is the tell-all portion to really make sure you get working on that block. And already you could see Marcin Dubicki, his board is starting to sag a little bit under his weight. Now he's got to start working on that block. Each time he takes a stroke with that axe into that block, he puts a lot of pressure on that back foot, because you got to push off of that back foot to gain the traction, and you need that traction in order to get that axe swinging properly. Second board is now in for Camille, but it is not looking good for Camille right now because his board is sagging just way too much. He needs to redo that pocket on the bottom and get himself a better position. And now you can see he's absolutely ruined the pocket that he set, so he's going to have to get deeper in there, even more so, to get himself a good position. And this is all about experience. The young man just needing to get a little bit more experience in this discipline. Meanwhile, in the background, Marcin Dubicki has already blocked it off, and he's got a time of 2 minutes and 9/800ths of a second. So Camille Dubicki now struggling to figure out what to do with that second pocket. And he is just at a loss at the moment. He's taken out too much wood. If he puts that springboard in now, he won't have a proper grip, and it'll just sag down. And basically, that's that. I think he's going to call it quits on this one. So Bart Jansen will pull the plug on that because time has expired too much for there to be any further point of competing, and that means it's going to be a non-starter for Camille Dubicki, DQ, unfortunately.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, unfortunately, stand 1, DQ, out of time. Stand 2, it's good.
All right, so Marcin Dubicki with a 2-minute time plus change. His the leader after this, but let's see if that time holds. It is the time to beat for the moment in Springboard. Remember, we'll only be taking 6 athletes, if I remember correctly, from this discipline into the hot saw. All right, well, you can see here that first board took a long time to get in. Marcin Dubicki was already setting his second board, and this is the problem that occurred right there for Camille Dubicki. You could see he put the board in place, but the board, the minute he applied even a modicum of pressure on it, you could see it started to slip out. And if you're up, like I said, 2 meters in the air, you don't want that thing slipping out of there when you've got that sharp and heavy axe in your hands. He had to take the board back down and try and reset it, but time expired. He just went too far beyond the time to get it done. And there you can see on the right-hand side of your screen that final blow by Marcin Dubicki in a time of 2:00.76.
Oh yeah, 17 years difference between the two brothers and a lot more seconds. Troy, you're right, only 6 athletes proceed to round number 3. And I would like to ask you a question. What happened to Camille? What do you do? If the pocket is destroyed, is there any chance of still getting back up there and being able to finish the competition?
Well, this is what I was talking about earlier, Marcus. If you can get a 3-hit pocket or maximum 6-hit pocket, but I was counting the strokes on Camille's first pocket, and he did a minimum 10 to 15 hits to get that pocket set, and the same thing happened on the upper pocket. Now, if he manages to get a 3 or 4 or even a 5-hit pocket on the bottom one, he's got more or less a bit of extra time to just move around slightly and reposition the board. But the problem is you're in a different position, and you have to put your axe in a different position to set your second pocket. So in that case, the time just ran out on him, and he didn't have enough stability and enough time, and the pocket was just too damaged to be able to set that springboard in properly and have a safe and secure position for him to go up to the 2-meter mark.
Yeah, and it needs a lot of experience to know that in a competition, because, yeah, very hard stuff. You know what I would do? I would sit down and watch TV, preferably Amazon Prime, because you can watch STIHL TIMBERSPORTS internationally on Amazon Prime. How you're able to do that, well, I'll show you right now.
Oh my God, how close is this? It's one of the closest heats we've had all day long, and it's Australia!
When the crowd start, you know, erupting, screaming and shouting, it just really does give you goosebumps.
It's pretty awesome to compete in front of a crowd like this.
I've been working my ass off the last 5 years to get to this point.
Is it going to be the checker bubble? Yes, it is! And the crowd goes bananas! He moves, then goes down. He's looking good!
It might make some people nervous. It doesn't make me nervous. It makes me ready to go.
To come here to the World Championships is one of my dreams. It has been ever since as a kid.
It doesn't make me nervous. Oh, wow, that gives me goosebumps because it makes me ready to go. Troy, are you ready to go? Are you ready for the next heats?
Absolutely ready.
Oh, I thought so.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
I loved hearing you in these clips from Amazon Prime. That voice gives me goosebumps every time.
Yeah, I get excited. I can't help myself sometimes, and then I start to lose it a little bit, and you can hear my voice crack, but it's exciting. I can't tell you. Yeah. It's you got to see it live one time, but if you can't see it live, Amazon Prime is just as good.
Yeah, just keep on losing it. Let's go on with the next team.
All right. Last bit of work being done on stand A by the looks of it there, and we will see Krzysztof Majewski and Marcin Jaskowski going against each other on this one. Now, I would say Marcin Jaskowski has the advantage because he's 105 kilograms against a man of 130 kilograms, and I can tell you from my own experience, 130 kilograms is not fun to stand on a bendy little board because that thing will, yeah, it'll flex. But if Krzysztof Majewski can put a solid pocket in and get a very stable board, he has got a ton of power. As you've seen in the earlier disciplines, if he can get up there quickly and be stable, then we may see a very good result from Krzysztof Majewski. But I will give the advantage to Marcin Jaskowski in this particular instance, only based on weight. You can see last little bits of work going on. I would love to be in the mind of Krzysztof Majewski right now. I won't say that he looks a bit nervous, but he's got to be thinking about this in a lot of depth. Speaking of depth, he needs to get those pockets really well set. We know that big men can do this very well. Jason Wynyard, also a heavy boy. He has a good time in this discipline. All right, it seems like there's something wrong with that top block, so we're going to give them a little bit of time to refix that and head back to the studio with Marcus.
Well, thanks, Troy. That gives us the chance to talk a little about the new situation that we have because of COVID-19. Things have changed, no doubt about that. And I think there's a few things that get more and more important. You think more about your family, you think more about the future, and living together gets different. And I think tolerance is one of the most important things, not only in your private life, but also in sports, and of course also in the STIHL timber sports competition. So let's talk about tolerance. Let's watch tolerance, and here comes a very nice clip that I'd love you to watch together with the whole STIHL Timber Sports family.
We are Timber Sports.
United by passion for the sport.
And competition. We chop down racism.
And say yes to tolerance. Yes to tolerance. Yes to tolerance.
Yes to tolerance.
Yes to tolerance.
是的，理解宽容。
Powiedz tak tolerancji. Ja zu Toleranz.
We are TIMBERSPORTS.
Well, Troy, you and me are timber sports as well. I'm going to be very tolerant because I've just found your axe again. It's an old axe, but it's a beautiful axe, and I think it's still very sharp. So it reminds me of you, buddy. Let's find out what's happening in Poland with the competition. Back to you, Troy. I'm ready for some very enjoyable moments.
Marcus, are you calling me an old axe? Or
No.
or
I'd never do
axe?
a sharp axe. You're a sharp axe.
Yeah. Just a quick note on that tolerance clip. I mean, especially now, it is more prevalent than ever, and I think it's very important that we all just have a little bit of an open mind and tolerance, of course, for what's going on and the people around us, because, without each other, we don't make it.
Well said.
All right, seems like they're having problems on stand B. I don't know what could be the issue there, but it looks like they've had to change the block completely on top, and it's Arkadiusz Drozdek up there securing that block with a final check, and looks like we might be good to go. As I was saying earlier, Krzysztof Majewski up against Marcin Jaskowski. Marcin, he's ready on his stand. It's just about getting Krzysztof Majewski and his stand good to go as he places his springboards, and I am really curious to see how this particular heat is going to go between these two gentlemen. And remember, we were talking earlier about those 3-hit pockets. It's very difficult. You have to be so accurate. If we can get
ready.
A 10-hit
Stand
pocket,
to
we
your
should
timber.
be good to go here.
3,
Here we go.
2, 1, go!
So Krzysztof Majewski just cleaning up that pocket a little bit, and we've already got Jaskowski up in his first block, or his first pocket board is up, and here comes Majewski. Looks like his board is solidly in place, and he'll try and set that second pocket now. Jaskowski, one more hit should do it for his pocket, and we'll get the other board in place. Tough position to do it there up on that board, and that's a nice flat cut right there. He's getting in good and deep. That looks like a very good pocket for Majewski. Jaskowski still working on a second pocket up there, and a quick test, and now both of them move up to the top. This is where you have to be a bit gingerly to make sure that you've got a good position. A quick test on that back foot, and both of them start working that top block right away. Oh yeah, Majewski slabbing out some big pieces there. Jaskowski still working. It's getting those shots on this side. It's quite a bit easier, but then when they have to start hitting from the backside, it's an awkward position with your hands. And wait for it, we should see Majewski switch his hand position shortly and go to the backside. He's cut a deep pocket on the front now here, or he's gone deep on the front side. And you can see that block is wiggling around a little bit up there. He's gone very deep here. He has almost gone through the block completely, and now he repositions himself. And this is where the angle gets a little bit strange. All right, we're still under 2 minutes here. Majewski opting to go back to the other side and just try and go through completely. He's got to have cuts on both sides. Whoa! Almost goes down off the block as he turns. A couple more hits there. It looks like it's wiggling a bit. And we've gone well over the 2-minute mark here. And 2 more hits should do it for Majewski. Yep, there you go. 2:16.89. Jaskowski, the man who I gave the advantage to for getting up a little bit faster, just didn't have the power once he got up on top. And the big man, Majewski, did a great job setting those pockets, giving him the stability. And now we've reached the 3-minute mark, and that means it's going to be, unfortunately, a DQ for Marcin Jaskowski, and that is going to cost him some big points. And that's disappointing as well, considering that he had that world record in the stock saw. Too bad.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen. Stand 2, unfortunately, DQ, out of time. Stand 1, it's good.
Bravo.
All right, so Krzysztof Majewski with a fantastic effort and a time of 2:16.46, currently sitting in second place in the Springboard results. And that puts him at the moment in 6th place. So he is on the bubble of whether or not he is going to get into the hot saw and our final discipline. So he will be watching very closely the times of the next 4 athletes that are coming up. And here we see those last couple of hits from him at the top there, and that very awkward angle to be hitting from. But he did a great job, and congratulations to him for currently sitting 2nd place in the Springboard results.
Great performance by the big man Majewski, taken 2nd position in the Springboard. Troy, one question on your side. You almost lost the balance. Have you ever seen somebody drop from the Springboard?
I have, and it's a scary situation to see because you're falling from 2 meters plus up in the air, and you've got a sharp instrument in your hand, so you have to have your wits about you. Luckily, that person did land on his feet and no harm was done. But, yeah, you know, these guys have to have cojones, to say the least, to get up there that high with an axe. And then you could see that weird angle hitting. He had to turn around and start going from his original side again and then come back to the other side. And that's when the balance went a little bit. So you have to be really wary of that. And it just still amazes me that we saw Sterling Hart do what you just saw these guys do in just under 36 seconds. So it's an incredible feat.
Has it happened to you before, Troy?
No, thankfully.
Well, let's keep our fingers crossed. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, dear Steel Timbersport fans, next weekend we're going to have the German Championships, and a highlight clip for you coming up this very moment.
Der neue deutsche Meister heißt Danimer!
Oh, wow, that's a big amount of dates. Make sure to join us. Steel Timbersports is back, and so is Troy. We are ready for the next heat, Heat 3 of 4 with the Springboard.
Yeah, there's a lot of work still going on stage to get those blocks set up and everything, but I'm really looking forward to the German Championships because Danny Marr will undoubtedly going up against Robert Ebner again,
Oh, yeah.
two
Classic.
titans in German timber sports, and it's going to be interesting to see how these two guys manage to come together. Just a note, though, before we go on, we're going to see the hot saw later on today, and it is a German that actually holds the record, the world record for hot saw. He did it back in 2016, and nobody's been able to break it since, 5.20 seconds. So let's see if somebody can do that in Poland today.
Well, maybe 2020 is the year, but 2020 is also time for looking back into the past, and we've got a great clip coming up for you, Troy. I know you haven't seen it yet, but let's take a look at the history of timber sports.
Surprise me.
We will.
Modern logger sports has its origins in 1817 Ulverstone, Tasmania. It is said to be a result of a $50 bet between two axemen as to show who could fell a tree first. Logger sports is a sport that has been around for hundreds of years in several cultures and countries. The sport itself has its roots in harvesting trees when only handheld tools were used. The world's first woodchopping championship was held in 1891 at Bell's Parade Ladrobe, Tasmania. The similarity between the past and today's competitions are still undeniable. Many different types of wood were used in the sport. Today the wood is almost the same for every athlete because it is now specifically grown and selected for this very sport. The handheld tools as well as the disciplines are still the same. The underhand chop, standing block chop, the springboard, and the single buck. It might feel like this is a man's sport, but since back in the days, also the women have competed and are still to this very day. It all started overseas, but as you can see, quite a bit has changed. Today's competitions take place at international and unique spots, and the athletes are coming from all around the world. Today's performance, skills, and power levels have advanced a lot.
What a battle between...
And today's new toys are quite cool and different as well.
Well, if you ask me, this is the original extreme sport. And of course, that was the individual competition, but that's not all. STIHL TIMBERSPORTS also has a team competition, and we want to take a short look back to the team competition in Prague, the World Championships, and all that effort that went into this. You can see it now. Oh wow, so much emotion. Can you feel it? I just love the team competition. And these guys seem to have no fear at all. But one thing is very, very important in times like these. It's to say and stay safe.
Our sport is the original extreme sport. It is our passion and our purpose. But for now, we must wait to experience the beautiful venues where we get to meet and compete. We must wait to explore the cities and to smell the freshly chopped wood at our competitions. We have to stay strong, be patient, and chop at home. We are confident that together we will get through this time without timber sports and look towards a future where we can do what we love again. We will all come together and experience the thrill, the goosebumps, the swinging axes, the roaring saws, the excitement, and the emotions. But until then, we stay strong.
Let's stay strong together. Troy, you and me, we're staying strong and we're getting ready for heat number 3. It's Marcin Darga taking on Arkadiusz Drozdek, and hopefully they are going to go strong on each other. How about that, Troy? Over to you.
Yeah, I think so. And this is a discipline that favors Arkadiusz Drozdek in this case in a definite way. We've seen him do well in this discipline before. It's a discipline that he likes quite well. Marcin Darga is one of those guys, again, he's got a lot of skill. He's a heavy boy, though, and the big question here is whether or not these guys can get their pockets set correctly and quickly and get up there in the position. As we saw earlier on, you know, that board placement, that springboard placement is so critical and key to being able to have a solid position and stance for getting that block cut at the top. And there's so much that goes into this, and you can see there's just a hive of activity on the stage right now, getting everything cleaned off, getting everything positioned right, making sure that everything is as stable as possible. And also, it's important to note that that block that sits atop this tree stem they've got there, that needs to be very, very solid, because what we did see in that last heat with Majewski on top, the block was wiggling a little bit. And, you know, each time that the axe impacts that block on the top, if it wiggles, it just takes away a little bit of the power from the axe. It's almost like, you know, when you're riding a bicycle and the crank moves forward, do you want to go forward and the chain stretches before it actually activates that back wheel? It's the same kind of idea. So that's why they're taking so much time, and that's also why they're making sure that all these things are set properly on stage so that we can have the fairest competition possible with these guys out there, and making sure that it's safe for them as well. Let's not forget, they've got an incredibly sharp axe up there. Those axes are, in fact, so sharp that you could shave with it in theory. So you have to really be aware of what's happening around you, underneath you, and above you when you're doing this particular discipline of springboard, and that's why so much time has to be taken during this particular discipline. Arkadiusz there on the right-hand side, is just shaving away some of the bark on the outside of the block to give him, you know, a proper guideline as to where he wants to start creating his pockets. That on the other side, it's also happening with Marcin Darga's position, as he gets a few of those extra hard pieces of bark away. And these stems they have, or these trees that they have, are, you know, there's nothing overly special about these trees. They're also from the same plantations that the competition wood is from. They just haven't been treated in the same way for the competition like the actual blocks that are cut with the axe or the saw. They are basically raw and just set at the same height on each side so that we have fair heights. So again, both of those are being set up, and we still have to put the actual blocks that will be cut on top. And yeah, on Marcin Darga's side is the first block heading up to the top to be secured in place by those 30-centimeter long screws. Arkadiusz Drozdek still working on clearing away the excess bark on the outside. He's got to be careful that he doesn't affect the actual tree underneath, so that the judge comes over and say, hey, you know, no pre-cutting there. But he seems to be finished as he sets his axe off to the side. Those competition axes, by the way, specially made, highly polished, exactly set up for competition with that polish so that they can impact the wood and come out of the wood more easily. This is not an axe that you would use to cut down a normal tree in your backyard, or if you're working as a logger in the industry, you would not have that kind of an axe. This is specifically an axe for a competition that's been cut to a specific angle with an incredibly sharp edge and a polished surface. You can see a lot of discussion going on over on the side of Marcin Darga. It seems like he was unhappy with the angle that top block was in, and now he's rotated around a little bit. It's a little bit like a math problem, you know, square peg in a round hole, and he's got it figured out, and it looks, from my vantage point here, straight. So once he's got that secured in place, he'll be good to go, and just got to make sure that that thing is very, very solidly set. One of the fun aspects about the World Championships and about the Champions Trophy and, of course, the rookie events is the crew that actually works on stage. They have competitions between the A and B stand crews to see who can reset the stands the fastest. These are, of course, crews that are made up of upwards of a dozen people on each side, so you can imagine 24 to 25 people out there on stage all working to get these stands set up. It's a different animal here in Poland because there's not as many people in the mix just because of the regulations and not being allowed to have so many people out there. We have to limit it to a certain number of individuals, and for that reason they only have 2 stands, whereas in the competitions like the World Championships or the Champions Trophy, they'll have upwards of 6 stands ready to go, where they just lift them up onto the stage with a forklift, put them in place, secure them to the stage, and then they're ready to go in a matter of, maybe 2 minutes tops. So in this case, we have a little bit longer to wait in order to get these stands set up and ready to go for competition. And you can see the athletes are actually doing a lot of the work themselves. So this is very much homegrown and down-home style in Poland. And that's a nice thing, actually. I kind of like it. It's a bit more grassroots. It goes back to, or it's rather like a mix between what it was in the early days and the high level of competition that we're seeing here today with the involvement of STIHL and their sponsorship and basically the direction that this sport has gone in the last years. With STIHL TIMBERSPORTS, regardless of whether it's the Polish Championship, the German Championship, the Benelux Championship in Australia or in the USA or in Canada or wherever, they've taken it to a whole new level. But this is, again, this is a mix of grassroots and high-end athleticism and skill. So we've got a fantastic event happening here. Arkadiusz looking chilled as he waits to get his block set up on top. It looks like Marcin Darga is satisfied with his setup as he sets his tape line for his upper pocket, and finally Arkadiusz will have his block set up on top. The gentleman with the blower works in a hair salon in his normal job there. So there we see Marcin Darga looking all serious. Arkadiusz Drozdek looking all Tom Cruise. Personal best for Arkadiusz is 1 minute dead even. So will he be able to get there with that time to take over the lead? You need to beat 2:00.76 held currently by Marcin Dubicki. He was the first guy out there with his younger brother and managed to get up on top and cut that block off in 2:00.76. So that is the time to beat to take over the top spot in Springboard. And if I look at the ranking in Springboard at the moment, Marcin Dubicki and Krzysztof Majewski are the only two with an official time. Kamil Dubicki and Marcin Dukowski both went over the 3-minute mark, which means they were disqualified. And the overall standings, Mikhail Dubicki and Marcin Dubicki are only 3 points ahead or difference from each other. Mikhail Dubicki at the top with 47 points, but Mikhail Dubicki has not competed yet in Springboard. So Jacek Grunwald, Mikhail Dubicki, Marcin Darga, and Arkadiusz Drozdek will all, should all get points here, which will affect the overall standings as well. So we'll keep you updated on that as time goes by and as these heats get completed. All right. 1, 2 more of those mega screws to secure that block, and then we should be good to go. There you see that fireman's helmet inflatable in the background. And it's, again, just to parrot what Marcus said earlier, big respect to all those first responders out there, firemen, police, and ambulance services taking care of us. All right. Looks like we're ready. So, Marcin Darga, the man with the guns right in front of you against Arkadiusz Drozdek, screen right. Arkadiusz, his personal best, 1 minute dead even across the board. Marcin Darga, let's see what he can do here today. Looking for good pockets, good board sets, and a fast time.
Athletes ready. Stand to your timber.
Here we go.
3, 2, 1, go.
Marcin Darga holding up on the axe a little bit higher on the handle. A bit more accurate, but not as much power. But here, it's not necessarily about the power. It's about accuracy and getting quick placement of that board. Now he's got the board in. Looks pretty solid, but he's got a wacky angle on it, so he's going to want to set that second board a little bit more flat so he can utilize that concave surface of the board. Arkadiusz Drozdek already setting up his second board and looking like he's aiming towards a pretty solid time here as he's up on top. Looks solid, doesn't seem to be bowing down too badly, and he starts on that top block. Arkadiusz Drozdek now working that top block to try and get his time inside under a minute, but I don't think that's going to happen as we've passed the 50-second mark, and Marcin Darga up tentatively on that board on his top working now. And both these guys looking like they're going to cut as deep on the first side as they possibly can. Arkadiusz Drozdek is a bit of an ambidextrous chopper, so he's got that advantage to his arsenal. Marcin Darga still working. And there's that awkward angle on the backside. Arkadiusz Drozdek, oh, great time, a surprise block drop. He went really deep on the backside with 123. So he's 23 seconds off his personal best, and he's got this one down. A great time, and that's the fastest time of the day so far. So Arkadiusz Drozdek moves into the top spot in the springboard results, and therefore also in the top spot in the overall standings, but that may only be temporary. And now Marcin Darga, he also brings it in under 2 minutes at 150.17. So Marcin Darga sits now in second place, both in springboard and the overall. Now it's getting interesting. Still one more heat to go, heat number 4 between Jacek Grunwald and Michal Dubicki. And you can see those board tips. Very, very sharp. All right, first and second, respectively, for Arkadiusz Drozdek and Marcin Darga. Good battle between those two. And see, you can see Marcin Darga choking up on the handle of his axe a little bit. Not as much power, but more accuracy with your hands being closer to the axe head. And you could see also, though, that he had a nice flat cut right there, but then the slope cut had a bit of an angle on it, so that when he actually inserted the board had about a 15-degree list, which makes it a little bit more difficult to stand on because you're always leaning towards the backside in this case. And you could see that angle on his board. Yeah, but Marcin had a good stable position. You could see Arkadiusz Drozdek. Man, how high are these guys up in the air? That is insane. A good 2 meters up at his feet. So you have to imagine he's a tall man. That axe being up at about 2.75 meters as he's swinging away. Beautiful pocket right there, though. You can see how clean it is and how solid Marcin made that one. Sets his board. Unfortunately, he was a long time getting that pocket fixed and finished and placing the board and then getting himself up there. Still, both of these gentlemen under the 2-minute mark. So Arkadiusz Drozdek in first position in springboard and Marcin Darga in second place in springboard. And even though Arkadiusz Drozdek won that heat, he just didn't look satisfied with the results coming down off of that block. So overall standings for now, Arkadiusz Drozdek, Marcin Darga, and Michal Dubicki 1, 2, and 3. But Michal Dubicki has yet to do springboard, and he will be going up against Jacek Grunwald. So those two guys are in positions 4 and 5 in the overall. Once they're through the springboard, that will change.
Well, that was a very impressive performance by Drozdek, and now we know why he's been the Polish champion 11 times so far. I think this man is still in the race. We have 3 different formats here at STIHL TimberSports. The individuals, then of course the team competition, we've seen both, and we've got the Champions Trophy. And the European Trophy is coming up in November, make sure not to miss it. And of course in 2019, we've also had a European Trophy in Belgium, and let's take a look at some of the highlights from that. So I'm taking a look at the standings. Drozdek with 60 points up front now, and Darga with 47 in second position. But of course, the final heat still to come with Michal Dubicki standing at 47 points at the very moment as we go into the 4th and final heat of this round number 2. Troy, back to you.
Thanks, Marcus. And yeah, we one of the formats of the Champions Trophy, which I really like, is that the athletes are racing against each other in the same way that they are here, but you'll see them do all 4 of the disciplines on stage. So they'll start with the underhand chop, then they'll go to the stock saw, then they'll go to the standing block, and then of course the single buck. So it's interesting to watch how that one goes down. I might have gotten the order a little bit mixed up, but nevertheless that format is really fun as we get the stage set up for our final heat in Springboard.
Perfect lawn and more time for garden projects. Robotic mowers by STIHL, only from approved STIHL dealers.
Excitement is growing as we're going into the final heat of round number 2. In this round, if you win, you get 16 points. If you go second, 14. If you go third, 12, fourth, 10, and so on. As we proceed into round number 3, there will only be 6 contestants left, and they will receive 18 points for a win, 15 for the second place, 12 for the third, and so on. So everything is still possible. We've got a really, really tight race here, and this next heat is so important for claiming the win here at the Polish Championships. Troy, are we ready for heat number 4, the last heat in this so decisive round number 2?
Well, I certainly hope so, and I'm just looking at the scores here before Mikael Dubicki will go up against Jacek Grunwald in this heat number 4. And if Mikael Dubicki can win this one and get the top spot in the Springboard, then he'll have 63 points, which is just 3 ahead of Arkadiusz Drozdek. And that brings us down to another battle between these two titans. But Jacek Grunwald with 39 points could well make a dent with a good win here. And especially if Mikael Dubicki can't get a solid time and is below 2:16.46, it could mean a major change in the overall standing. So there's still a lot wide open in this competition. Nothing is quite finished yet. You know, Arkadiusz with a 60 points at the moment, but still 2 athletes to come with the possibility of getting up there in the points standing. But it's a solid battle, in my eyes, between Arkadiusz and Mikael Dubicki. Final setting of the stage here. And this is like the issue I was talking about earlier. It's not really even an issue. It's just that it takes a lot longer to set up the springboard sections of this competition than it does any of the other aspects. So this is why the longer delays here, but it's worth it to see the action on stage. And Jacek Grunwald, he looks ready to go, fully focused. And you could see him mentally going through his strokes there. Mikael Dubicki on the right-hand side of your screen, heat number 4 in this springboard competition. Look at the time for Mikael Dubicki. You can see, based on that alone, that he is quite adept at this particular discipline. Here we go.
To your timber. 3, 2, 1, go!
Four-hit pocket for Jacek Grunwald. Great start for him. Can he get that board set and solid? Yes, he can. Very, very good. That was fantastic. 4 hits to get that pocket set. Dubicki still trying to set his first pocket, and Jacek Grunwald already set with another fantastic pocket. Look at that. Gets the board in place. He's locked it down, and he's got good position as he gets up on top. Hey, this could be a personal best for Jacek Grunwald, who at the moment has a personal best of 102.06. Wow. What a great start by Jacek Grunwald to get up in those 2 positions. And this is what I was talking about right off the hop. Getting those quick and solid pockets is so key to this competition. And now he'll take a couple more hits here and work on the backside. He's got a very, very deep cut on the first part. Mikael Dubicki, though, he is up on top. He's got a bit of a saggy board. That's going to play a role. Will he be able to catch up? Grunwald now passing the 110 mark as he is trying his best to beat Mikael Dubicki in this one. The times are going to be good for both of these guys. 1:14.83 for Jacek Grunwald. He's sitting in second place. Mikael Dubicki still cutting. Can he do it? Oh, he's in a bit of trouble now. He has gone farther than Arkadiusz Drozdek. Mikael Dubicki with a 1:27.83. That has him in third place. So what an advantage for Jacek Grunwald here. We'll have to see what that does to the overall points. But when I look at everything that's happening in the overall standings, there's a lot of movement going on. Arkadiusz Drozdek still in the top 3. Mikael Dubicki takes over the top spots, even with having third place in the springboard. And Jacek Grunwald now is sitting in third place. We're going to have to see when the official results come back what our points changes look like. What a great start by Jacek Grunwald with 2 fantastic pockets right off the hop. Watch this. 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's his pocket set. Bang on. Board goes in. Took him a little bit of time to get that board in there and position it properly, but then he gets up, and now we've got 1 hit, 2, 3, 4. He took 5 hits on this one by the looks of it. Happy with it? Okay, I lied. It's a 5-hit pocket on the top, but the best 2 pockets we've seen so far today. Gets up on top and manages to blow that block off the top in a time of 1:14.45 official. Yeah, he's happy about that, no doubt. Absolutely fantastic. 2 amazing pockets in that one. That's the way it should be done, folks. All right, Springboard. Jacek Grunwald takes the full 16 points there, pushing Arkadiusz Drozdek down to 14. Mika Dubicki solid with 12 points in 3rd place in Springboard. Darga and Marcin Dubicki in 5th place. And the last person is going to be Krzysztof Majewski, moving on to the hot saw. And you can hear those saws in the background being warmed up. If we look at the overall standings now, Mika Dubicki is in the top with 59 points. Arkadiusz Drozdek just 1 point back. And Jacek Grunwald with a good push is 4 points back of the top spot with 55. So the battle is really in the hot saw for those 3 gentlemen. And the hot saw is the end-all, be-all discipline for this event. And it's going to come down to how quickly, how accurately, and without any mistakes or problems with the saws these guys can do in this last discipline. And these are performance saws. It is craziness.
One, 2, 3, 4. Can you believe it? Only 1 point separating the top 2 before we proceed to the last discipline, the hot saw. Time to take a closer look at the highlights of round number 2. Only 6 competitors left in the competition. Awesome pictures as we are getting heated up for the final discipline, the hot saw. And it's getting also very hot here in the studio, so it's time for a cool down. Let's move up to Alaska.
We live and work here in the Tongass National Forest in Alaska. My son and I feel very lucky to have the opportunity to be a part of the natural environment.
My relationship with wood goes very deep. It's been a huge part of my life from a really young age.
It's a huge effort to bring lumber to Teneke Springs, so we decided it made sense to try to produce lumber here for our own needs.
I'm looking forward to testing the MS462 and seeing if it lives up to the high standards. There's only 90 people that live in our town, and the access here is either by boat, ferry, or seaplane. I need to be able to repair or replace any part on it myself because we have to be able to fix them in the woods.
The type of logging we're doing does not harm the forest. We're only selectively logging and making room for the other trees to grow. Even though we just tested the MS462 for a couple of days, we feel very confident that we can maintain and repair this saw ourselves.
It's a very reliable, high-performance saw. You can just tell that it's a cleanly designed, smooth-running machine. I think it will improve our output in a big way.
Time to take a deep breath. We've seen the underhand chop, we've seen the stock saw, the standing block chop, the single buck, and of course, just now, the springboard. Now it's all down to the hot saw. This is where win and lose gets close together. This is what we call the maker or the breaker.
W pierwszym biegu rywalizować będą Marcin Juskowski i Marcin Dubicki. W drugim biegu Marcin Darga i Jacek Grunwald.
This is the one and only discipline where the athletes are alone on stage.
Yeah, probably the most important event, but yeah, also the most frustrating.
These saws are so incredibly powerful and dangerous.
Usually the hot saw is your slider. Hot saw, hot saw. Like I can't describe to you when we're out there under pressure.
Saw starts well, first disc looks solid, cut is good.
You know, you're always ending the competition on a hot saw, so you know where you're going to be at when you finish. So you're either at a real big high or just is what it is.
Nice clean cut, easy, relaxed.
Der Hot Saw ist für mich die geilste Disziplin der Welt.
5, 6, 8, bobbing after, 3 on the deck.
Hot saw is a love-hate for me. I honestly don't get that much enjoyment out of it. I'm not a motorhead. I swallow my pills and eat it.
Once the competition comes, anything can happen. Oh no, a false start by Sterling Hart. What a disaster.
Yeah, it was a disappointment for me. Happens though. It's part of competing.
I saw there's 3 good discs there, but then let that nose come right up underneath the crossover line.
Unfortunately, a disqualification.
It all relies on the hot saw.
If you have bad luck or if you did wrong, it's sport. Just your experience.
What an absolute disaster. The chain came off.
I was not disappointed because everybody see that I can be with the guys in front.
A bit of a disaster, so it was just operator error, and I didn't perform as well as I would have liked to.
Yeah, it's the make or break event, you know.
I think you love it and you hate it.
Weltrekord wollte ich schneiden, das war immer mein Ziel schon seit Jahren. Und das jetzt hier bei der DM zu machen, natürlich so grandios, kann man eigentlich gar nicht besser schreiben, das Buch, und bin natürlich super glücklich.
Try to make 3 good cuts and no disqualification.
The hot saw is where it's all one, so that's the best event.
Everything and anything is possible in the hot saw. It's the Formula One of timber sports, and we are getting ready for this hot format. 18 points to be won for the fastest athletes. Here is the format of round number 3.
So we've seen in round 2, single buck and springboard, and now we're going to take 6 athletes from round 2 into round 3, and that will determine our positioning for the overall. Now, in the overall, we have Michał Dubicki, Arkadiusz Drozdek, and Jacek Grunwald, who have the best chance of taking the win here in Poland. The question is, will they be able to manage it with those very high performance, very finicky, and extremely dangerous hot saws? Anything can happen out there, and there is a bit of a difference this time around. We are doing head-to-head hot saws.
History tonight. We'll find out in just a few moments. Here is tool and discipline of the hot saw for your explanation.
These custom, handmade, race-tuned machines are built for maximum power and precision and to cut the wood as fast as possible in a competition. They are built with a 60 to 80 horsepower single-cylinder two-stroke engine, often taken from a snowmobile or high-powered motorbike. The hot saw can weigh up to 30 kilograms and its chain rotates at over 250 kilometers an hour. The cost of a competition hot saw used in STIHL TIMBERSPORTS is upward of 6,000 euros. Hot saw. For the hot saw, power saws are called into action and the athletes have a space of 15 centimeters to cut 3 complete discs off a 46 centimeter thick wooden block. Jumping the start or cutting over the line will result in a disqualification.
Really is rock and roll. It's time to take a look at the head-to-head heats for this final competition. We'll have Marcin Juskowski take on Marcin Dubicki in heat number 1. In heat number 2, it's going to be Marcin Draga taking on Jacek Grönwald, and the final and all-deciding heat will be heat number 3 between Arkadiusz Drozdek and Mikhail Dubicki, the reigning champion. Troy, are we ready for this? I definitely am. I can't wait. It's all down to this. It's all down to the hot saw.
Well, for you gas heads out there, this is absolutely the discipline. And as you heard from the description earlier, this is a powerful machine, often taken from a snowmobile or a motorcycle, two-stroke engines. I mean, these things have a power band in them, and when they hit that power band, they just go wild. 250 kilometers an hour chain speed. They're heavy, and that is not just the only thing that's playing a role here. The motor inside moving, the spinning of the chain, the rotational forces that are at play here with the hot saw all make it a very difficult machine to keep stable. It is a bear to adjust position on that machine. And you have to also remember, if you get a bad start or if you get a false start or the chainsaw doesn't start at all, then you have to re-wrap that cord to try and start again. All of that takes time and effort away from what needs to be the decisive discipline here in the STIHL TIMBERSPORTS. And it is so important to have a good hot saw, and the stress level raises through the roof with this particular discipline because of how finicky these saws are. Now, usually the athletes bring their own saws. Occasionally, they will borrow a saw from somebody else if they are new to the sport or have been one of those up-and-comers that haven't quite gotten to the point where they can afford one of these 6,000–7,000 euro machines. In this case, there are only 2 hot saws in the house, so they have to be maintained between each heat. They have to be checked thoroughly between each heat. The chain tension has to be checked between each heat. It is a lot of work to make sure that these saws are going to be in standard running order. It is not like the off-the-shelf MS661s that are almost always going to start with a single pull of the chain. It's, like I said, it's finicky. It can be a real dirty mistress if you're not careful. And boy, you got to have a bit of luck on your side with these machines. So with the hot saw, you know, for all like I said, for all you gas heads out there, it is the perfect TIMBERSPORTS final hit. It is going to be a lot of fun to see which of these top 3 guys can really take it away. It's more than likely going to be one of the top 3, Mikhail Dubicki, Arkadiusz Drozdek, or Jacek Grönwald. I mean, all of them have been or are current champions, so you know they have a chance to do it. Marcin Darga, sitting in 4th place, has 43 points. So really the only way that he has a chance of taking the world, or not the world, excuse me, but the Polish championship title is if all three of the top three guys DQ because of some sort of a problem with the saw or cutting over the line or otherwise. So we have to keep a really close eye on everything that's going on with the hot saw because, as Marcus said earlier, this is the decisive discipline here in Poland and everywhere else. The difference being this year, as I said, is there are two saws on stage at the same time and not just one. So it looks like all preparations are more or less good to go. You'll see they've added a lot more of these deflective screens throughout the area, and they're also attaching a block line there on that disc. Now what that is each of these saws has a pull start, but the pull start is not attached with a rewind spring like on the normal saws, so that it won't pull back into the machine once it's pulled out. It gets pulled out and pulled away from the machine completely, and so that it doesn't fly all the way over to the other side of the stage, when they pull it out, they're blocked in on those particular positions so that they can rewrap the string and try and restart the saw in the event that they do have a problem with a false start or the string flipping or something like that. So our first heat coming out onto the stage now, Marcin Juskowski and Marcin Dubicki. Personal best 8:05. Look at that. That is a very solid score. Dirk Brown, as we saw from the German championships in 2016, has the world record at 5.20 seconds. That has stood up until this point. Could we have another world record today? It's entirely possible. World records don't just fall at the world championships. So, yeah. Let's cross our fingers. Some more information about the gentlemen that are coming out here. Marcin Dubicki, 8th place in national championship in 2019, and he's had one national championship appearance. So that says a lot about his skill, getting an 8th place at his one and only national championship appearance. All right, here's how it's going to work. The guys will have some time to start the saw, get it running, warm up the cylinder, make sure that everything is in order. Then they will have to rewrap the cord and get it ready to start again. This is not a running start. This is a pull start, kind of like Le Mans style, running over to the bikes, hopping on. Here we go. And listen to those motors grind. How loud is that? Unbelievable. High performance motors. Absolute beasts, these machines. All right, so now it's about rewrapping that cord, making sure that everything is absolutely as needed for a good start. All of that said, let's not forget, they have to cut 3 complete cookies within that 15-centimeter line. Aiming that saw blade is a whole other animal. So.
Athletes, ready. Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go.
Okay, right away I can see Marcin Dubicki is going to have a problem because he didn't put his hands on the wood to start this competition. So this one will go to Juskowski, no matter what time he has between these two. So Marcin Juskowski with a 13.79, and I can already hear in my headset that there is a review on stand B. So that is on the right side by Marcin Dubicki. He didn't put his hands up on the block to start. This was just a mistake on his part. You need to have hands on the wood.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen. Stand 1, all good. Stand 2, DQ. The hands were not on the wood with start, so no good. And this cookie is incomplete. DQ.
All right, so it's a double dose of a DQ there for Marcin Dubicki. That is unfortunate. Marcin Jaskowski had what looks like a good time, according to Bart Janssen. So Marcin Jaskowski with a time of 10.75. That is most respectable. A good solid time. So that's the time to beat. All right, so resetting the stage again, and there you see Marcin Darga inspecting his location, making sure that there is no dust, nothing on the ground to make the area slippery. And also Jacek Grunwald on the other side on stand 2. I've been making them backwards all day long. So stand A is on the left-hand side, or stand 1, and stand 2 or stand B is on the right-hand side. There you see 4th place at the National Championships in 2019. He's had 3 appearances. 7th place at the European Trophy in 2019. The kid is solid. Personal best 13.64. Could he do a better one today? We hope for his sake he can. And there, Jacek Grunwald, 46 years old. Personal best 8.76. That is very close to the world record. And like I said, you know, the German championships, we saw the world record drop in 2016 with Dirk Braun getting a 5.20. It's anytime a possibility to break a world record. We saw that today in Stocksaw. Let's see how it fares with these two gentlemen, Marcin Darga, Jacek Grunwald. Again, these high-performance machines, super finicky. If they don't start properly, you might as well count yourself out, because rewrapping that cord just takes a lot of time. Although that never say die attitude is very important, because you never know. The person on the other side could manage to cut out of the line, or the saw could stall mid-cut, which is even worse than having it stall before you even start the cut. Bart Janssen going over to double-check everything with both of these gentlemen to make sure that all is fair and good, because there is a procedure that needs to be taken care of before the cuts and after the cuts in order for everything to be considered absolutely legal. And hopefully nobody will forget to keep their hands up on top of the block. That was the big mistake from Marcin Dubicki in his heat. It was just a small gaffe on his part, but it cost him the time that he would have had.
Okay. Gentlemen.
And 18 points up for grabs here, by the way, for the top spot. Quick warm-up. A little bit surprised that Marcin Darga did not lift the saw off the floor in order to feel how it is running in his hands off the ground. He left it stable on the ground and ran the saw at full pull.
Warning.
Whereas Jacek Grunwald, he turned the saw on and lifted it to feel the effect of the motor running in his hands in the air. And I think that will give him the advantage in placing the saw for his 3 cuts. All right, here we go.
Athletes, ready.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go!
Good start by Jacek Grunwald, and I'm telling you, him lifting that saw and feeling it in motion while it was running is the difference maker. 10.73 for the hot saw for Jacek Grunwald. Marcin Darga with a 13.30, and I do believe, yep, that's a personal best for him, but I'm telling you, the difference right there was feeling that saw up in the air in his hands, and that has made the difference for Jacek Grunwald with a 10.73. Oh my goodness! Just ahead of Marcin Jaskowski with a 10.75, and the adjusted time now for Jacek Grunwald is a 10.61. So a great time for him. Marcin Darga with a 13.10. That's a personal best, but he is 2 seconds off pace. So at the moment, Jacek Grunwald with 18 points, Jaskowski with 15, and Darga with 12, with one more heat to go.
Good.
All right. So there we go. Both cuts are good, according to Bart Janssen, and the guys will leave the stage, letting the crew come on and set everything up as we take a look back here. So it was a good start for Darga, but he took a little bit of time there. This was the test and the warm-up run. So yeah, that wasn't the official start. And here we go. This is Jacek Grunwald. Good start. Nice first cut. Solid second cut, lining it up for that third cut. That did take a little bit extra time, but he got 3 good cookies out of it. Here's the cuts from Darga. Yeah, he took a little while to set it up. Thin to win is the idea, but you don't want to take too long to load in place. Then he had to reset on the upstroke. That cost time as well. And then a little hop there, almost going over the line. Boy, he was close. That was a hair width away from that line, and you could see Bart Janssen making a beeline to check it right away because it was so close. Oh my goodness. All right. Good heat there we saw between Darga and Grunwald, and now it's down to heat number 3 with Arkadiusz Drozdek. He's got lots of experience here. 11-time national champion. He's had 13 appearances. 11 times out of 13, that's a pretty good record. Silver medalist in the Team World Championship 2017. His personal best, 7:80, getting even closer to that world record time. Meanwhile, Michał Dubicki, a strong lad. He is a machine, as I've said all through this show. 8.73 is his personal best, and they're always looking to improve it. He's had 3 national championship appearances. He is 1-time national champion. 4th place at the Champions Trophy in 2019. So, good matchup here between Michał Dubicki and Arkadiusz Drozdek. A couple of veterans. Arkadiusz Drozdek definitely has the experience advantage over Michał Dubicki. Let's see if he can manage it here. All right, Arkadiusz saw something that he didn't like, and they're going to clean up that block to make sure that everything is fair. Sometimes at one point on the block or another, it could be that it looks like a larger slab has been cut away or knocked off somewhere in transport. There are a few things that play a role here, but the tool that Bart Janssen is using right now is making the marking of 15 centimeters all the way around. And it's just like renting a car, you know. Arkadiusz Drozdek checks that thing out thoroughly to make sure that it's all good. Michał Dubicki satisfied with his side. Arkadiusz Drozdek just waiting on his side to be completed. Got to paint that disc, of course. That is a prize for a lot of people. They collect them. I've got one at home. All right, now we just have to wait on the saws They get checked because we do only have 2 saws here. They get checked in the back one time before each heat and then brought back out. That's the difference here. And it looks like Mikael Dubicki is also opting to get his block cleaned up a little bit. Well, that guy's not winning any competitions with that time, but, you know, he's all about the accuracy there more than anything else. So this is the last heat of the day. Heat number 3 in round 3 with the hot saw between the 2 leaders prior to this discipline in the overall standings. Arkadiusz Drozdek and Mikael Dubicki. At the moment, both of them are sitting in 2nd and 3rd place in the overall, only because Jacek Grunwald had the time of 10:61, therefore the 18 points. But if either one of these 2 gentlemen are faster than Jacek Grunwald, it's going to come down to their 18 points, and there is only 1 point separating the 2 of them. So if either one of them are faster than Jacek, and whoever gets the most points will be your Polish champion. So if Mikael Dubicki gets the second fastest time, he'll earn 15 points, and that will make him the national champion. So, in the worst case, or, well, for Mikael Dubicki, the worst case is a DQ here because he's that close. But he needs 2nd place or better to take over the top spot from Jacek Grunwald, who has 73 points. Mikael Dubicki would have 74 if he gets the 2nd fastest time of the day. If he does not, and Arkadiusz Drozdek gets the 2nd fastest, then he will be tied with Jacek Grunwald for the top spot. And then it will come down to positions in earlier rounds. This is very, very close and very, very exciting between the top 3 guys at the moment. If both of these guys, just out of pure happenstance, happen to DQ in this discipline, then Jacek Grunwald will be the Polish champion once again. So many things can happen here.
Okay, gentlemen.
The tension is rising. It's crazy.
Seconds.
So Arkadiusz has a problem with his saw. He's just called Bart Janssen over. Something to do with the starter mechanism and the starter cord. Now it seems like they have gotten everything in order. It's got to make him a bit nervous. Forgetting one small thing
ready.
can be the difference maker here.
to your
And
timber.
here we go.
3,
the final heat to
2,
determine it all.
1, go!
Oh, it's a bad cut by Arkadiusz Drozdek. He knows it. He saw that thing goes down. He needs to cut another one to get 3. Dubicki's got 10:03. 9:55 time even with a bad disc for Arkadiusz Drozdek. Is that even possible? No. It's going to drop down his time to 12:83. Michał Dubicki with a 10:03. That means he will be the Polish national champion, but it's not official yet. What an unfortunate turn of circumstances for Arkadiusz Drozdek. That second disc for him, oh, just too bad. We'll have to take a look at the slow-mos again of that one to see what actually happened. But his targeting was a little bit off. Both of them started really well. No problems with the saws starting. Let's see what Bart Jansen has to say here.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen. Both cuts are good.
So the official call is, give me a graphic, somebody, please. Okay, we're going to go to the slow-mos first. So Arkadiusz Drozdek with a good start. Watch right here. He's got that first cookie nice and clean. Right here on the far side at the toe, he sees the cookie drop and notices there's a cutout. So he's got to go back and do a third proper cookie again, and that cost him so much time. Meanwhile, Michał Dubicki, 2 solid cookies, and the third one coming along with a time of official now 9:86. Not a personal best, but a solid time and enough to give him 77 points in the overall, which means he is the new Polish national champion. Michał Dubicki with the win in the hot saw takes the 18 points home. Jacek Grunwald with second place now has 15 points. Arkadiusz Drozdek in third with 12 points. 1, 2, and 3 in the hot saw is also 1, 2, 3 in the overall standings. All right, so it's not over yet, folks. I've just been informed that we have a rerun of the first heat because of a broken saw. So we are going to have one more set of cuts, but at this point, I don't think it's going to make a massive difference in the points. So it appears as though Marcin Jaskowski will have an opportunity to cut again. Just taking off a small amount of the front of that block to make sure it's nice and even. It's an unusual situation here. We don't see this very often where an athlete gets to cut a second time around, but they are remarking this block to make sure that everything is in order. And there will be another cut for Marcin Jaskowski. So the best Marcin Jakowski can hope to accomplish here is 43 points, which still wouldn't have him among the top 4. So this is about gaining experience and, of course, gaining as many points as you can. He's also been informed by Bart Janssen not to warm up the saw too much because it's already very hot. So we don't need to overheat the saw because that will also cause everything to shut down short notice and temporarily there with the saw. So they've just also informed him that the saw needs to cool down for a couple minutes because it's too hot right now. If he starts that saw up and heats it up more, then the saw could jam. It could stall completely. Any number of factors could play a role here. The automatic shutoff could just cut it, mid-cut. So better to let the saw cool down. We'll take the time to make sure that everything is all good. In the meantime, you can get in on the conversation with #KissMyAxe. And don't be dirty, folks. It's all good. Send us your favorite pictures, your comments, your notes. And looks like they're actually pouring water to cool down the carburetor a little bit. Or at the spark plug. Again, unusual circumstances, but you have to improvise, adapt, and overcome. It's unusual that we only have 2 saws for 6 competitors. Usually they have their own saw with them. This is going to raise the tension level a little bit for Marcin Jakowski. Who knows? Maybe with a cooled down fresh saw, he'll get a world record in the hot saw as well as stock saw.
Ich brauche Wasser, ganz schnell. Und dann du. Alex for Troy? Ja, unser Tuch oder etwas, Papier. Jules, ein T-Shirt. Ich krieg die Säge, ich krieg nicht bekannt.
Sometimes patience is a virtue. Sometimes it's just a pain in the butt. But we have to wait for that saw to cool down enough in order to make it fair for Marcin Jakowski to be able to do his second run because of a saw problem the first time around. See that motor, it's just a beast. All right, it looks like we may be well ready.
Okay. Warm up your saw.
So we're seeing the first issues here with an overheated saw, and even with all the cooling, it seems like it doesn't want to play. So one more attempt to wrap that cord and get it started. And he'll want to keep that thing not too hot at all.
$30 seconds.
There we go. And that's enough. Done. At least he got it started, and we know what the problem was. It was one of the trigger switches was locked off. We have that saw running now. So he's got to get that cord rewrapped, hooked on to the safety line. And then he will have his opportunity here to try and get the fastest time possible.
Athlete ready.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go.
So rerun for Marcin Dukowski, and oh no, disaster strikes. The saw does not start, and he says, nope, I'm not going to bother. It's not worth the effort at this point. The saw was just simply too hot, and that is just an unfortunate situation for Marcin, who has opted to say, no, I am done. Or will he wrap again and try and go for it? Yep, sounds like he's going to try. Nope, it's not happening. The saw is not cooperating. The time is running away, so he will have, unfortunately, a non-start in this case. Too bad. That is really disappointing.
The saw then start DQ.
So that's said and done. We have an unfortunate DQ. Not actually his fault at all because the saw broke in the first part, but in the discipline ranking for the hot saw, Mikael Dubicki was solid with a 9.86 time, taking the 18 points home. Jacek Grunwald with a solid second place, and Arkadiusz Drozdek sitting in third with Marcin Darga in fourth place. Marcin Drzkowski and Marcin Dubicki both DQ'd, unfortunately, in this one, and a personal best for Marcin Darga. In the overall standings, that means Mikael Dubicki with 77 points is your new, or reigning and new, Polish champion. Jacek Grunwald with 70 points comes in second, tied with Arkadiusz Drozdek in third place. So that's an interesting one right there. Marcin Darga moving up the rankings with 52 points in fourth place, and Marcin Dubicki in fifth place with 36 points. And you can see the disparity in points between the top and fifth place is fairly significant.
Że zwyciężyłeś. Jesteś starym, niemniej nowym zwycięzcą Polish Championship STIHL TIMBERSPORTS. W związku z tym chciałbym kilka pytań Tobie zadać. Konwencja jest taka, że zadam również w języku angielskim. First of all, I would like to congratulate you. It was stunning. It was impressive. What an amazing performance. We already know that many fans were watching you today. Would you like to tell them something?
No, chciałem wszystkich pozdrowić, przede wszystkim moją rodzinę, żonę, syna, wszystkich najbliższych, znajomych. No do końca nie wiedziałem, nie myślałem, że wygram, bo hot saw to jest bardzo, bardzo loteryjna konkurencja. Udało się, no jestem szczęśliwy. No jeszcze do mnie nie dochodzi, drugi raz mistrzem Polski, no jestem przeszczęśliwy.
So Michał said that he's very happy for the second time in a row his Polish championship. He wants to greet his family, his friends, and all the people who were watching him today. Michael, I have a second question to you. Zadam Tobie, Michale, jeszcze jedno pytanie. Czy spodziewałeś się dzisiejszej wygranej? Did you expect to win today?
Podchodząc do zawodów, na pewno się ma nadzieję, żeby wygrać te zawody, no inaczej bym nie startował. No miałem taką nadzieję, no bo no każdy ma nadzieję, żeby wygrać. No udało się, wyniki są super, udało się wszystko zrobić tak jak należy. Jakieś małe potknięcia, to zawsze coś tam się nie zrobi po swojej myśli, no ale jest okej, jest super, no hot saw mi wyszedł super, także wspaniała sprawa, nie? Jeszcze chciałem dodać, drugi raz mistrzem Polski, od 2017 trenuję Timbersport, także jestem przeszczęśliwy.
Michał is a very decent and kind man. He told us that he was believing that there is a chance to win, but he wasn't 100%. So there was no knowledge about it, and he wanted to say that he's doing Timbersports since 3 years, so he's doing well.
Cały czas się uczy, zaznaczam.
He's learning all the time. The last question, ostatnie pytanie, Michale, do Ciebie. What would you like to improve? Co chciałbyś poprawić? Is there something?
Praktycznie każda konkurencja jest do poprawienia. No nie wiem, wszystko mi się nie podoba, no ale wiadomo, jeżeli czegoś nie wykonuje perfekcyjnie, to jest nadzieja, że jeszcze można poprawić to i zrobić lepsze czasy, lepsze wyniki. Także mam nadzieję, że jeszcze przyszły rok pokaże jeszcze lepsze tutaj wyniki i osiągnąć w tych zawodach.
As I said, Michał is a very decent guy. He told me that everything he should do better, and he promised us to make it better from year to year. Michale, dziękujemy bardzo. I think that would be all. Thank you very much.
Chciałem wszystkich pozdrowić na całym świecie. Mam nadzieję, że się spotkamy z najlepszymi zawodnikami.
As Michael said, see you soon. Thank you very much for watching me. Bye.
Thank you. Wir bräuchten ein Bild, wo so jubelt. Können wir das noch machen?
Well, congratulations to the old and new Polish champion Michał Dubicki. We'll see you at the World Championships. Hot saw, Troy, is that why they call it the hot saw? Because sometimes things are getting overheated?
I think that's one way of looking at it. They get overheated. The other way of looking at it is you can get really hot under the collar if the thing doesn't start. You can get hot at another competitor because they were faster than you. There's a lot of reasons why you call it a hot saw, but it's just a straight up hot event.
But I have to say, I really, really enjoyed that. Of course, we're getting ready for the winners ceremony. And I think it was great fun. And it's awesome to be back here at STIHL Timbersports. Did you have a good time, Troy?
I had a blast. I love doing these shows, and I'm happy that we can still manage it under the circumstances with COVID and everything. Of course, it would be awesome to have the audiences there and the vibe and the excitement from the audiences. But you know what? Watching these guys compete, even on the national level, The excitement is there for me, and you could see it was there for them as well. It was a fantastic event, and I'm really looking forward to the German one coming up next week.
Oh yeah, ladies and gents, make sure not to miss out on next week, the German Championship coming up, and of course we're going to be live for you. As I can see in the background, we are awaiting the winner's ceremony. We're going back to the venue, and we'll have the winner's ceremony coming up for you in just a few moments.
Don't forget, 13th of September, the German Championships happening right here in Munich, Germany. 20th of September, the Six Nations Rookie Cup. Also on the 20th, the Four Nations Cup. 26th of September, International Rookie Cup. Hey, it's a busy month in September. The Czech National Championship as well. And then in October, we've got the Benelux Championship. 8th of November, the European Trophy. And the 29th of November, the Individual World Championship. So lots of timber sports action coming up in the next 2 months, or 3 months actually. Make sure you stay tuned for full updates on the schedule. Visit data.stihl-timbersports.com.
The winner's ceremony. What we've just seen, ladies and gentlemen, was the awarding of the world record. What a great day it is to take home a prize for earning the world record in one of these difficult disciplines. Absolutely amazing. Of course, our winner ceremony is going to be in accordance with COVID-19 safety and health regulations. Bart and STIHL Janssen, our officials, are going to make sure that everything is going to work the way we want it to work. It's been an absolutely fantastic competition, and as you can see in the background, we are getting ready for the winner's ceremony. Let's take a look at the positions 10 to 4. Christian Kaczmarek in 10th position. All the best from this side. He injured himself in the first discipline. Hopefully he will be back and strong very soon. Number 9, Tomasz Kobol, also having a great competition. Number 8 today here in the Polish competition, Kamil Dubicki. With 7 we have Krzysztof Majewski. On position 6, Marcin Juskowski. And in 5, Marcin Dubicki. And 4, just missing out on the top 3, it's Marcin Darga. So we are awaiting the top 3, the bronze, silver and gold medalist. And it's only going to be a few more moments until they receive the medals, ladies and gentlemen. So as we can see in the background, preparations are happening. Everything is getting ready for this big moment. The Polish Championship has been a great day for us, coming back with STIHL Timbersports live for you here on the Facebook site of STIHL Timbersports. It's been absolutely fantastic that you joined us. And one more time, let's not forget next week with the German Championship coming up. Hopefully you'll be there as well joining us. So let's see our champs coming up. We have, of course, a very special situation. We have 2 silver medalists, and therefore in 4th position the next competitor will be. So we'll have 1 gold and 2 silvers, no bronze medal in this competition, with Michal Dubicki reclaiming his title from last year with 77 points, and Jacek Grönwald and Arkadiusz Droczek earning 70 points and therefore in a tie claiming the silver medal. Troy, if you can still hear me, you know these situations, you know the winners' ceremonies. Is that something that's always special, even if we take a look at Arkadiusz, for instance? He's been 11 times Polish champion. Is there still that trembling in your tummy? Is there still all that excitement?
I think once you've won something, you want to win it again. I mean, it's hard not to. You know, I see this a lot in all sorts of different sports. It's the Stanley Cup. If you won it once, you have the fire in your belly to win it again. Or it's the Champions Cup. You've got it one time, you want to have it again, and you want to maintain control of that prize. So I think any competitor in any sport is not going to just say, oh, I've won it once, I don't really care, you know. They're going to want to have it again and again and again, because that trembling in your belly, as you say, is probably even more present once you've had it one time. You want to have it again even more.
And all 3 of them have already been Polish champions, so they know what it feels like. But it makes it even tougher if you're not on top spot, doesn't it?
Well, yeah, and I mean, it's the best kind of drug ever. You know, you become Polish champion, you're the national champion for your given sport. In this case, STIHL Timbersports. You know, that's a feeling that you want to have again and again and again. And, you know, being a past champion like Jacek Grönwald or Arkadiusz Drozdek, they're like, hey, I want to have that feeling again. You know, second place, as they say, sometimes is the first loser. But I don't think that's a fair assessment here, because these guys, you know, they've all had that championship feeling, and you know they're going to be battling for it every single time.
Oh, for sure. And of course, everybody wants to go to the World Championship, and as the reigning champion, yeah, it's what happens.
Exactly.
So I've just been told the prize-giving ceremony has started. So of course, Spartan and STIHL Janssen, our officials, are sending in the top 3. No surprises here for us.
Na scenę poproszę trzech zawodników w kolejności Grozdek Arkadiusz.
And with Jacek Grönwald and Arkadiusz Drozdek having the same points, I've just been told that time is taken in consideration. The fastest all-together time makes the difference. So we have Arkadiusz Drozdek in third, claiming the bronze medal, as we will see in just a moment. As they position up. 2 on our left, 3 on our right, and of course the reigning champion, the old and new champion, Michal Dubicki, in the center. So if you're back home watching this live stream, make sure to give it up for the man in bronze, for Arkadiusz Drozdek, claiming 70 points, just as many as the silver medalist, but just being that tiny bit slower in all-together time, with 3 minutes 08 compared to 2 minutes and 55. What an athlete. Silver medal goes to Jacek Grönwald. He's already in position as well. And as mentioned many times today, the favorites, the man who won last year, is on top again this year. But it was a hard fight. So there he is, Arkadiusz, up on his log. Hopefully he's not going to fall down and injure himself. No, it looks safe to me, keeping his balance as he awaits his medal. As already said before, this is all in accordance with COVID-19 safety and health regulations. Therefore, this prize-giving ceremony is a little different than you might be used to. Wearing the face masks, keeping the distance of 1.5 meters, whilst handing out a fist bump, and of course the trophy and a bit of a small talk. So one more time, this is the bronze medalists, Arkadiusz Drozdek, 11 times Polish champion, and now runner-up in the year 2020. Well, that's quite a number of prizes he's receiving. That's impressive. So it was definitely worth the wait. And as you can see, it's all elbow to elbow, no hugging, no kissing. Everybody wearing the face mask. So here we have it again officially. 70 points at a time of 3.08.52. As we move on to the silver medalist, Jacek Grönwald. And what a competition he's had. The champ from 2016, the silver medalist of the Team World Championship 2017, the winner of the Lions Trophy 2018. 2020 could be a kind of comeback year for this man. Impressive, 47 years old, and this man is still going and going. Beautiful trophy that he's receiving. Great competition here in Poznan, in Poland, as he gets handed over trophies and trophies. No elbow-to-elbow check here, keeping the distance as we await the new and old champion. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, dear STIHL Timber Sports fans, here is Michal Dubicki, 39 years old, 4th place Champions Trophy 2019, winner of the Polish Lions Trophy 2019, the winner of the Polish Championship 2019, and of course the Polish National Championship 2020. And having said this, it's time to say goodbye. It's been a pleasure And I think we can truly say STIHL TIMBERSPORTS is back. As we await Michal Dubicki to step up on his log, showing us the trophy for the new Polish champion. And there he is. Now it's happened. There's the big trophy, and that is a massive, impressive trophy. I think all three of them would have loved to take that one home. Receiving a few more gifts. Saying hello, goodbye, and thank you, elbow to elbow. Lovely scenes here. And there we have it. He is the champion. He is the winner. He has regained his title. Michal Dubicki, the new and old #1 in Poland, dropping some of his prizes, but not losing his trophy as they wave to the imaginary crowd. Here we have it again on the podium. Arkadiusz Durzdek claiming bronze, Jacek Grönwald with silver, and gold goes to Michal Dubicki. I can truly say it's great to be back. Thanks so much for joining us, ladies and gentlemen, here with STIHL TIMBERSPORTS and the Polish National Championship. Don't forget, next week we're going to be here with the German National Championship, and we're going to be live again. Hopefully you're going to join us again. We've got some beautiful pictures for you before we say goodnight, and hopefully see you next week. Bye-bye.